10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Get your guinea pig.
Happens to be the best damn candidate out of 600 volunteers.
A secret experiment gave one man the strength of 100.
For the rest of the world, he's just codenamed Captain America.
And the power to save millions.
The Jerrys have an experimental rocket ready to fire at a target somewhere in the United States.
Only he could defeat a superhuman madman.
They got a fella called the Red Skull heading up their outfit.
But saving the world left him trapped in an icy grave until fate released him to finish a battle started decades ago. Ronnie Cox, Kim Gillingham, Scott Paulin as the Red Skull, and Matt Salinger as the Marvel Comics hero, Captain America.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good golly, Miss Molly. Welcome to the latest edition of the Canon Film Club, where we talk about all things Canon films. And in this case, that does include their successor, 21st Century Film Corporation. We've loosened the boundaries of the show today. I am your host, that 70s rock fan, and today we're dusting off a film that takes us back to the roots of superhero cinema, before the Marvel Cinematic Universe was even a twinkle in Hollywood's eye. That's right, we're talking about the 1990 cult classic Captain America. Now, before you picture Chris Evans and the modern day shield-slinging icon. This Captain America is a very different beast, directed by Albert Payan and starring Matt Salinger as the Star-Spangled Avenger. This film has it all: 90s cheesiness, questionable special effects, but a charm that's hard to resist for any die-hard comic book fans. Now, released direct-to-video in the US and largely forgotten by mainstream audiences, this movie is a bit of a fascinating piece of superhero movie lore. So, yeah, grab your plastic shield and prepare for a trip down memory lane as we explore the good, the bad, and the downright quirky elements of 1990s Captain America. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to you all out there on YouTube, Rumble, and Twitter. Please hit the like button, share out the stream, all that great stuff that helps the show and the channel so much. I do very much appreciate everyone's support. We're almost at 1,500 subs, which is incredible for a lazy man like me. So how the hell did that happen? But anyway, we have a fantastic panel tonight and a few other people joining us later, I'm sure. But first of all, I would like to welcome back to the show our dear friend, the author of the Canon Film Guides, Mr. Austin Trunick.
Hi, thanks for having me back. It's always fun.
Great to have you here again, sir. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad, all things considered.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you've been up to a few things recently, and we haven't had you on the show for a little while. Anything exciting you want to tell us about? Or
wow, let's see. I guess in the physical media front, I got a couple things coming out. Still working on the third book, but got other few projects. The Umbrella Entertainment release of Masters of the Universe has a new version of the chapter on the film as its booklet. It's a big, thick edition with pictures, lobby cards, postcards.
I have pre-ordered that.
Oh, awesome!
Pre-ordered it. So awesome. You've got a new chapter.
Yeah, an updated version of the chapter that's in my book. So nice. When the book came out, there weren't really. Barbie hadn't happened.
Yeah.
So I had to update some of the things in it really to go into, another Mattel property, which is a giant box office success compared to what Canon was trying to do with Dolph Lundgren and He-Man 30 years ago.
Good. Well, I look forward to getting that, mate, because I want to read that chapter, but also it's an incredible package that Umbrella have put together. It looks really good. So yeah,
it's got a big section on the unmade sequel done by Mark Hartley, who did the Electric Boogaloo doc. Yeah. So he gets into how that turned into Cyborg with some footage from his documentary that wasn't used in that film. So it's I'm excited to see that.
Oh, me too, mate. When I get that set, I'll probably be doing a video about that set, so maybe you'll have a few minutes to pop on.
Absolutely.
And we'll talk about that, yeah. Whenever it arrives. It's coming from Australia, so is Australia...
You said and pushed back, too, so I think it's now the end of June.
End of June, yeah. I mean, Australia's not a real place, so I guess I don't know where it's coming from.
And closer on the horizon, though, if there's any Navy SEALs fans, the 1990 Charlie Sheen. Michael Biehn film, the Vinegar Syndrome, the Ultra HD edition of that, I have a booklet essay in there, which movie had a crazy history with 7 different writers, and I compared many different drafts of the script from its 6-year production, which is insane to think that it took that long. But it kind of explains how Navy SEALs became Navy SEALs.
Good part of that, mate. I mean, the Navy SEALs, as Charlie Sheen would say, it's not a movie to turn your nose up at. Terrible joke, I know, but I couldn't resist it. But thanks. And the third book is the third Canon Film Guide, and we'll certainly show the Canon Film Guides at the end of the show or before you depart. We'll bring up where you can get them and all that. But the third one is happening.
It's coming. It's a lot of work still to do, but I'm still working at it.
Is it going to cover 21st century as well? Or
it's going to touch on it where I can. There's a long chapter on the Lambada films, the competing Canon versus 21st films, and it gets into the split up, but I'm not doing a film by film. There's just not enough room.
Sure.
Perhaps I'll follow up with a separate 21st book sometime down the road, but no, this is just going to cover the Canon movies.
So 95-year-old Austin Trunick will be publishing the Canon Film Guide 25 as the first Mars base is set up. No, thanks for being here, buddy. It's great to see you. We do have a couple of other newcomers to the show. First of all, I'd like to introduce the Wicked Fanboy, aka Jim. How are you, sir?
I am good, sir. How about yourself?
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for joining us. You are a filmmaker and screenwriter and YouTuber, are you not? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am more of a screenwriter who's just getting back into the game after about 20 years of being out of the business. Took a little time to convince myself to go back in. Considering what's going on nowadays in the industry, and everything's kind of at a standstill right now as far as that goes. But back in the day, I started out as a script doctor, technically, working for several studios and touching up this and that and the other for Paramount, Disney. I worked for Disney for a little bit, Universal, and so on, and kind of buggered out after a little while. Didn't get any satisfaction from one particular production company that offered me a chance to make a film from a screenplay that I had written a long time ago. I had a chance to direct, and that one tanked out. And after that fell apart, I decided to depart for a little while, and now I'm coming back again to haunt the hell out of them. So I'm on YouTube and just kind of chilling and seeing what's going on and hanging out with you guys today.
Well, it's great to have you on board, sir. Thank you for joining us. Look forward to hearing your thoughts on this movie. I was going to say great movie. I'll just say movie. It is a movie.
You cannot deny that.
You cannot deny it's a movie. But also joining us today is our great friend from Ascendant Art, Little Chad. How are you, buddy?
Hello. I'm excited to talk about a movie that I've seen. I remember renting, going into the video store and being like, "What the hell? There's a Captain America movie." I'm renting this today.
Well, that was my first experience in VHS in the early 90s. What the hell's that? Yeah. Never heard of that before.
Yeah. My favorite part about this movie, by the way, is that for some reason, as great as a lot of the makeup stuff was, they couldn't get the eye holes on the Captain America suit right to not make him look like he might be super special as Captain America.
I'm pretty sure, that's why the rubber ears. They couldn't put his own ears out or something.
He's got Marty Feldman eyes.
We'll be looking at that for sure. But thanks for being here, Chad. Very much appreciate it, mate.
No problem.
We'll talk again at the end before you depart about your Ascendant Art channel, where lots of fun is to be had. Except when Mad Martigan joins Mad Gizmo, things just really go downhill then.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's terrible. Also with us, though, are regulars, my friends and fellow Canon film clubbers. First of all, Joe, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic, bro. Haven't seen this one in a long time. I remember when I saw it, I got it at Blockbuster and watched it. Old movie. What I really dig is the prosthetic ears. They didn't take they decided to go with impressions of ears over the ears instead of just cutting holes in the side of the mask.
You mean these?
Yes, the fake ears. Yes. Oh man.
Because when real ears are not quite good enough.
Right. Yeah. They just didn't like his ears, and they wanted to make it a point of emphasis in the film.
We'll come back to those images in a minute. I know it's one of the endless talking points about this. But thanks for being here, buddy. Good to see you again. And also here, Hope Metallicus. How are you, mate?
How's it going, man? Great to be here and great to be talking about this one. This one I kind of forgot about because I was really young when this came out. So I've seen it before, but I hadn't in a long, long time. So thank you for subjecting me to this movie once again.
I wish I'd been really young. Then I might never have seen it. Just kidding. It's actually not that bad.
No, it's actually a good film.
We're good. It's got its merits. I'm not quite sure what they are, but it has its merits. But thanks for being here, mate. Also with us, of course, is our great friend Imperatus. How are you, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing all right. Doing all right.
And I'm sure you're going to love this film.
I remember seeing it back in the day. I didn't get a chance to rewatch it over the weekend because I was dealing with a migraine all weekend. But I remember back in the day, it was cheesy, yeah, but it wasn't. It was one of those cheesies that's good.
Yeah, Mad's asking where the link is. I put it in at least 2 DM groups. I put it in the Little Chad Twitter DM and in the It's Only Talk and Roll DM group, which you have access to both, I believe, my friend. Yeah, the Little Ascendant Art Podcast chat. The link is in there in Twitter. So get on here. But yeah, thanks for being here, Imp. And thank you to everyone for being in the chat. And there is a poll. Do the poll. There's a number of interesting questions on there. We'll see how that turns out. But yeah, great. We have a ton of people here. Lord Thoth, Slender Dad, Vince Womack, Courtney. Hope you're feeling better, Courtney. I know you're not feeling too great today. Bush McFadden, Snowdub, our great friend Snowdub, Mad Kizmo, Papa Cotton. We have Henry Gambles. Good to see you, Henry. Lord Thoth, I mentioned. Brahma Bull, our great friend Brahma Bull. Go Stars. Sorry, did I say that out loud?
Yeah, you did. I don't even want to talk about the NHL right
kidding. Now. We've got FKHC 2005, Soul Assassin, David Glenn, Tina Guzman, many others. If I forget you, forgive me. I will highlight your chats later. And over in Rumble, of course, we have Vince hanging out over there with Joe. And hopefully anybody else. Leave a message on Rumble if you're over there. So we do have another special guest. Well, a guest to welcome.
Oh, he's special, just not in the way you
special. This man is so special he has needs. Welcome to the great Machismo.
I'm feeling sick. Can we pull the stream over?
That's right. It's your superpower, hijacking streams.
Mad's superpower is being able to wear the mask from the Captain America movie and look just like Mr. Salinger with the little eye holes. Super special.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you can make it, buddy. Good to see you.
Yeah, I was going to be here on time, but it was other people's fault.
I know. I blame Chad.
I did.
Hey, it is amazing how everybody else in these chats was able to click the link and be here, but somehow it was my fault.
Oh, he blamed me too in the chat. If you saw that,
I know.
Anyway, yeah. So as I say, everybody click that like button. Spread this stream out. Make us famous. We appreciate that. Let's get on with talking about this movie. So, Captain America 1990. Can anyone see the problem with that poster? It says coming to theaters everywhere. If everywhere means the Philippines, as Jim told me, then
was that the only country it was released in?
I don't know. Not many.
It had its world premiere at the Los Angeles Comic-Con. And on a projector in like a back room of a convention center.
Yeah. Yes. I don't think it got a wide release. Did VHS release in 1991 in the UK, and then finally in 1992 in the States. So, hang on.
Did this one come out before the one with the plastic shield, or after the plastic shield?
So you're talking about the 1970s Captain America TV movie?
Okay, so this one came after. Confirmed.
So the history of this, I think, Jim and Austin will back me up, is before this, Captain America had a Republic serial back in the 40s. Way back in the 40s, there was a Republic serial. And then you fast forward to the 70s, CBS and Marvel made the 2 Captain America TV movies, which I do believe I have images of somewhere.
Is that the one that had the clear shield?
I don't recall that.
Yes, it was the clear translucent shield with the motorcycle, where it was attached to the front of the motorcycle.
Yeah, so the Republic serial, which was the first time, I think the first time any Marvel had been represented on screen anywhere. I've never seen it. I mean, why would I? Where the hell is it? Where the hell even is it? Joe might remember. He's old enough. Do you remember, Joe? I'm just kidding. But this one took, though, I believe the approach this took was more of a, there was no, I don't even know if there was a shield. He carried a gun, and it wasn't, he didn't go through the transformation or anything. He was more of a crime fighter with a gun, you know. He liked tying up women, apparently. So based. So then the 70s,
yeah, there it is. There's the clear shield. Yeah.
So there's the clear shield. 79. There was 2 movies. Again, I think I might have seen them once in passing on TV. And then the one that
I like to call that one the Evil Knievel Captain America.
Evil Knievel.
Yeah, that was they were done in conjunction with the Nicholas Hammond Spider-Man TV movies, and also obviously the Bill Bixby Hulk. That was. I was going to say that was your 70s. Yeah, that was your 70s Marvel. Like, there's a lot of people on YouTube who have mashed it up to be like, oh, if the Avengers happened in 1981,
yeah,
and it was all these things.
So, and I think there was a Doctor Strange, which I've never seen.
Oh yeah, that one was like trippy as like just crazy 70s goofy.
Yeah. So that was kind of the. I mean, Marvel. It's weird. Marvel had this really difficult job of getting their stuff on screen, unlike DC, who, I mean, they even refer to Superman in this movie. DC seemed to have all the success Marvel did. I'm not a comics guy, so I have no idea why that is. Like, why was it so difficult for Marvel to make any headway there?
Well, they were a fledgling company, really. I mean, yeah, Captain America was around since World War II, but I mean, they didn't really start in earnest till the 60s.
Yeah,
they'd only been around for about a decade as Marvel, you know. So
yeah, Captain been around since what, the 40s, but
yeah, but Marvel comics,
it was timely comics.
Yeah,
yeah, and like Spider-Man had just started in the 60s. Same with
62,
the X-Men, Iron Man, and all
is when
that.
Spider-Man started. Yep,
Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, X-Men were 62 and 63 is when they all launched, and they became mega hits.
Yep.
So. That's when we got the 60s Spider-Man cartoon with the famous theme song, and they used to do a real fun thing with the cartoons where they would actually take the Jack Kirby art for the comic books, and they would take pictures. You guys may remember this, like with the very like choppy animation was them actually basically stop motion moving the actual like cut out. They would cut out from the like big 11x17 panels that they used to draw the comics and make these cartoons, which is why they looked so choppy. But they were pure Kirby art. They were Jack Kirby basically drawing those cartoons.
I saw I saw this image and I went, "Oh wow, Marvel's always been gay."
Hey, this at least he's got muscles here. At least he's got muscles.
I mean,
it's better than the Rob
in his stance.
I was about to say,
I don't know
than
in their
Rob
defense.
Liefeld one.
I don't know in their defense, buddy. DC has a character that's run by jewelry. Okay, so I'm not sure about that.
So anyway, after all that shenanigans in the 70s, Captain America the Kirby.
I can't believe they never did a reference to this in the new movies. With Chris Evans stealing somebody's car by pretending to be sick. It would have been such a great little payoff, a little nod.
Although I'm kind of sure the reason they didn't is they don't want to be associated with this movie at all.
I wanted to get this gif out of the way.
But the ears, they're perfect, bro.
Yeah.
They created the perfect ears.
So we went through the 70s movies. Sorry, I want to go back to eventually Canon ended up with the rights, and then those went to 21st century. So Austin, what do you know about how the rights ended up with Canon and then how the whole 21st century thing?
That's a long, crazy story with a lot of different versions of the Captain America film. And yeah, so I'll try to paraphrase it the best I can. But basically, Marvel was looking to get their movies out there, their properties into movies. And you got to remember at this time, outside of Superman, superheroes were still kind of considered comic books, all of that, as Saturday morning cartoon type stuff, or primetime Incredible Hulk and the Chopsocky Batman movie or TV series. And the Superman films kind of changed that, kind of opened up the properties. So Marvel got out there, and they weren't in great financial shape, but they started trying to sell these film rights, and people weren't really interested. None of the studios were. No one was willing to take a chance. Canon had tried to, at that time, get the rights to make a Superman movie. They failed. They hadn't got it yet. They would, and that would become a movie that is quite infamous.
Oh, God.
But they went to Marvel, and Marvel said, here, you can look through our stuff. Take your pick. And they chose Captain America and Spider-Man. And they weren't interested in the rest. They considered doing The Incredible Hulk because they had Lou Ferrigno on contract. He was around making movies for them. It made sense, but they kind of figured that had already been done. Nobody wanted to see Lou as Hulk anymore, especially not on the big screen. It's a TV thing. So they got the rights to these two movies. And I want to think it's because Menahem he was familiar with Captain America. And it was kind of, he saw a chance they could have their own Superman with him. Spider-Man, famously, he didn't know anything about Spider-Man. He thought Spider-Man was like a Wolfman type thing where Peter Parker would turn into a giant, scary
Well, that would work.
tarantula.
I'm down for that.
Toby Hooper was the original director of this horror version of Spider-Man, but he didn't stay attached for long. But there's some great ads where it says coming soon from like 1984, 1985, and it's Toby Hooper Spider-Man. With a script by Dan O'Bannon, which was amazing.
That was before the James Cameron script then.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been awesome. I'd watch that.
So Captain America?
Yeah, I think Joseph Zito was attached to that at one time too.
He was. Yeah.
It's,
and Albert Gunn as well.
That's one of the fun bits about Canon and all the offshoots is that things just changed every few months. Different guy attached, different script, different. So Michael Winner was actually set to direct, and you can read the Michael Winner script online. It's out there online. It would have been a very different movie. Better or not, I don't know. It would have been It would have been Captain America: The Death Avenger. He would have had a rocket launcher.
Michael Winner's version is pretty twisted. Michael Winner didn't know anything about Captain America. British director. If you know anything about him, it's his Death Wish movies and his various Death Wish sequels that he did.
Soft porn type.
Yeah, he definitely had some kinks that he was working out on screen on our behalf. But Captain America, he didn't know anything about it, but he wanted to do it. What's interesting is the original script. Canon actually had a script written by Jim Silk, who wrote Sahara, Ninja 3: The Domination, Revenge of the Ninja, which would have been super cool. And it was all set during World War II. And I've never read this version of the script, but I can just imagine it would be awesome because Jim Silk is a pretty awesome writer. Just Canon balked at the price. Doing a World War II superhero movie is expensive.
Yeah,
so
like,
Michael Winner
on a golf course.
Rubber ears are a lot cheaper.
Just have one stuntman playing everybody.
Rubber ears are cheaper.
To direct it.
So when they went through these iterations with Michael Winner, and then there was a Stephen Tolkien script, which ended up being the screenplay eventually. But then the whole Canon meltdown happened. There you go. Hang on. Let me make you larger.
I just remembered Captain America kicking the fucking rocket to move it.
That's right. Kicking
I want one.
Yeah, he kicks his foot on. We're going to see that later because we'll go through some of the stills.
Yes.
Yes. That's a lovely book you've got there.
Yeah, that's their 1984-85 catalog. So that would have been one of the earliest ads for after they picked up the rights. Marvel, they could have bought the entire catalog for $1 million.
I like your Steve James picture in the background.
Yeah, I got some fun stuff. I've moved my office around since I was last.
It looks different. Yeah, it's nice.
My favorite one's the one over your left shoulder, the runaway train thing.
Oh,
that is badass.
Yeah. Mine's a homeboy from Bloodsport.
Oh yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
And if we got out the weather man like angles for this.
Yeah, so it ended up with. We could make entire streams just about the end of Canon in the 21st century, starting. But basically, when Golan, Canon went bankrupt, was bought by an Italian chap, I believe. I can't remember his name now. I've got it written down here.
Giancarlo Peretti.
That's it. Who owned 21st Century already? Who'd done a bunch of repackaging of martial arts movies, Hong Kong movies, and stuff. like one of Golan's things was in the settlement when Canon was bought was to get control of 21st Century and keep the film rights to Captain America.
Right.
I think I'm right. Yeah.
Part of his severance package from Canon was that he got to go to 21st. He would get a certain number of movies. Basically, he had to produce a certain number of movies every year, and the Pathé Communications, who owned Canon and 21st, would help finance those. But he took the rights to certain finished movies and certain movies that were in pre-production. And Albert Pune actually requested that he brought Captain America with him because he still wanted to. He saw potential in that. So Albert's the reason that Captain went to 21st Century and didn't stay with Canon.
Indeed, and 21st Century didn't last too much longer themselves. But one of the movies I remember they made was Bullseye, the Roger Moore, Michael Caine movie, which was okay. It wasn't bad. And Death Wish 5 was the last one.
Yes. And they did a movie I love is the 1990 Night of the Living Dead remake. Tom Savini's version. That was a 21st Century production.
That was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, they made a few good ones.
It was.
So anyway, the 1989-1990 filmed Captain America, budget of $3 million, most of which didn't go into the bank account, I don't think.
Questionably didn't go on the screen either.
That's
but,
right. Filmed in Yugoslavia, directed by Albert Pune, and quite a good cast, which we're going to take a look at in a second. Not a bad cast. Critical reception was not good, though.
What?
And one of the 100 rated worst movies, major releases of all time. Or, I don't think it's that bad. But,
I don't think it's a major release.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think it should qualify as a major release.
Yeah, when it doesn't come into America for 2 years after it comes out. I mean, come on.
Well, this is it. It didn't get released till 2 years later. And it was out in the UK first on VHS, which was... It's interesting you mentioned Pathé, because Pathé Communications was not the same as the French Pathé. He was trying to rip the name off that Italian guy.
The poster you showed earlier, which my favorite notes about that is 21st printed those as fast as they could to get them into movie theaters when Batman was playing in '89, so that people were going to see, or the earlier one, the one with the shield with the coming spring. Yeah.
That one, yeah.
So you imagine the Tim Burton Batman posters, and then this would have been in the theaters with them and just never arrived.
Yeah.
I do actually, thinking back, I feel like I do remember seeing that poster in my theater.
I don't way too young to remember that, but I do remember Fantastic Four being previewed and calling my local movie rental place like, hey, has Fantastic Four come out yet? No, lady, stop calling.
So as we normally do in these things, we do take a look at the people involved in the movie. The star was Steve Rogers / Captain America, son of J.D. Salinger, Matt Salinger. Does that make him catcher of the shield in the Rye? I've been practicing that one all day.
You were really proud of that one when you came up with it.
But Matt Salinger, which was not necessarily the best choice. I don't know. I mean,
it
could have an Arnold.
There were two.
If we're talking about acting, maybe not.
Yeah, it could have an Arnold. Wasn't Arnold in the frame for it at one point?
How?
I think Howie Long was actually in the running for Captain America.
Right.
Howie Long would have been a good choice, actually.
Yeah, he would have.
I mean, I was about to say, how did Brian Bosworth not get in the running for this? This would have been exactly
he can
his
act.
time period for it.
He can act, unlike those other guys.
Right.
Yeah. And then
the craziest thing was they were so cheap when making this movie that instead of doing an actual Captain America transformation, they told Salinger to basically walk with a cane. And and the plot point was you had polio, but the only thing that was wrong with you was walking with like a cane. So once he became Captain America, all he was like, I can just walk without a cane now. Look how amazing this transformation was. It's done nothing else.
And of course, we do know and love him from Revenge of the Nerds. And after that, I think he's made a ton of art house type things or low budget action stuff. I don't recall him in anything particularly since, but he is still around. He's still kicking around. But I mean, beyond him, you had Ronnie Cox.
Yeah, I forgot he was in this movie, man.
President Tom Kimball, which I think might be a nod to Kimball Kinnison from the E. Doc Smith books. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure if he was around now, we could get him on any YouTube video. This guy was in everything. He didn't say no to anything.
That's right. So obviously, RoboCop, Beverly Hills Cop, anything with the word cop in it, basically.
Yeah.
But it was so hard, like treating him as a good character, because when I'm watching Captain America, when I had just rented it, I think Total Recall was the last thing that had just come out that was major with him in it, and obviously everybody remembers RoboCop. So this dude, the most iconic thing. I mean, Beverly Hills Cop, he was sort of a good guy, but he wasn't in it like a ton. The main roles that you would know before you watched this Captain America movie was him as the scumbag VP of OCP in RoboCop, right. And then him as Cohagen in Total Recall, who was one of the worst like villains you would have seen. Like, and then you're like, look at how he's a Boy Scout president. Let's all root for him. I'm like, no, he's secretly evil.
It's like having Andy Garcia or Ed Harris in a movie. You're like, oh, that's the bad guy.
Was right? Austin, was this the only Canon film that Ronnie Cox ever made, or Canon related? I think it might be. So. Yeah. I don't recall any others, but I mean, when you think of the things we just mentioned, he was in, and then he goes to make this immediately afterwards. So, he did say he claimed it was one of the finest scripts he'd ever seen, but because of the lack of budget and the terrible production, it just came out horrible. He rated the script quite highly. So.
Has the original script leaked? I mean, I with seeing what went on screen, even if they had really good special effects, I don't get it. Like,
yeah,
you know, I mean, Italian Red Skull kind of kills it. Captain America.
But also we had Ned Beatty, of course, as Sam Kolowitz, who's childhood friend of Kimball. See, Kimball to me was always like a kind of a Jimmy Carter-esque type president, the way he portrays him.
Well, because Ronnie Cox looks a lot like Jimmy Carter.
And this is his buddy, and for all their lives since they were kids, they've been searching for evidence of the Red Skull and Captain America and blah, blah, blah. He's a conspiracy theorist.
You would think that once the guy actually gets to be president, he could get the file opened.
That's right.
I mean, it's not like he's some random. I mean, I get that Ned Beatty is some random, like, you know, National Enquirer reporter, but Ronnie Cox is the friggin' president, and somehow he's like, he couldn't ask someone in the CIA, hey, in the 1940s, did we have maybe a super soldier program that we used or something?
That's right. Yeah. Well, also Ronnie Cox as a kid had one of the greatest cameras ever invented, because he could take a close-up of a guy on a rocket going at Mach 2.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. Like in the beginning of the movie, the general who's briefing Captain America, like, and the guys before the experience, like, hey, we know they're building a rocket. We're sending a mission. There's gonna be paperwork on this thing getting done. I mean, an actual general was like explaining and briefing the assignment. This isn't like, oh, Captain America just ran off to Italy on his own to go do this.
But I mean, this follows on a Canon tradition in 21st century of having great, well-respected actors like Emmett Walsh and guys like that in their movies as well. Even the cheesiest of movies had some great actors in them. Which
wasn't Ned Beatty in the Star Wars Holiday Special too?
Probably. I've tried to forget that ever since. Oh, he was in Shooter, that's right, but he's in Deliverance, obviously. A million great movies.
But that speech he gives in Network is his finest moment on screen, man.
Yeah, Superman.
You're gonna really say that was better than Squealing Like a Pig? Good for you.
Absolutely, I'm gonna say it was better.
I just want to give a nod to this great little Scottish movie that Ned Beatty was in the 80s called Restless Natives. Bernard Hill was in it too. So check that out. Restless Natives. He played an American tourist. Talk about typecasting.
That's surprising.
So another famous heavyweight actor, Darren McGavin. I always call him Shooter for some reason.
Carl Kolchak, man, that's who that is.
Kolchak was in this too, as General Fleming. Well, he starts out as a different actor, and he's lieutenant. He starts out as what's the guy's name? The actor that plays him when he's younger. I can't remember now. I've got it written down here. Bill Mumy. Bill Mumy.
Bill Mummy, yeah,
Bill
from
Mummy, yeah.
from fame from Lost in Space and the
Yes.
Twilight Zone.
So he starts
and
out as a
Babylon
different actor.
5. Yeah.
And then older though, he's played by Darren McGavin, General Fleming, obviously Kolchak. Great show.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean Mike Hammer, he played on TV.
Christmas Story. Come on.
He's in Billy Madison, so he's obviously a great actor.
I mean, he's used to winning major awards.
Yes.
Mark D with a C, by the way, guys, is doing a watch along of that every Wednesday night.
That's right. Our great friend Mark.
Wait a second. The major award was Italian. The Red Skull was Italian. So clearly the Christmas Story was a prequel to the Captain America movie.
Yeah, true. So I mean, there's three heavyweights: Ronnie Cox, Ned Beatty, Darren McGavin. There was also Michael Nouri playing Lieutenant Colonel Louis. I always expected another name on the end of that. Louis who, you know.
Louis.
Still active as an actor. He was in Flashdance and he was in Mad.
Still active. He was in Flashdance.
Which show was he in? No, but I wasn't saying he wasn't. There wasn't other things after that.
I would think he might be in a show named after a portion of a state that you might have really liked and enjoyed.
I thought Mad mentioned this show.
That you were a boy of, Mad?
What?
He was in the OC.
Oh, wait. Who is this?
Michael Nouri. Come on, you know who he is. You love the OC.
Yeah, he was barely in it though.
That was Mad for I should have known and I didn't, so I'm gonna say it's something else is the cause.
It certainly wasn't that. It certainly wasn't Mad for I don't remember him in the show.
And he was
whatsoever.
in Yellowstone as well. Apparently, I can't remember. So,
But that's Julie,
moving
though.
on from Mad's embarrassment at not knowing that.
That's Summer's mom.
Scott Paulin was the Red Skull, or Tadzio DeSantis. Here he is in the right stuff. They actually so the makeup for the Red Skull. I thought the Red Skull stuff was quite good.
When he was the Red Skull, not when he had like the face.
For its time, yeah, the makeup was pretty cool.
So later, I think Austin, I don't know whether it was Albert Payan, but somebody said, "Well, the audience doesn't want to watch a guy like that the whole movie. We've got to take that makeup off," and they made him look just like he'd been operated on. I don't know, Austin, if you're...
Yeah, they kind of had to cut corners for budget-wise. They can say... it's possible that's true. Just being
a Canon film
century.
Doing that? What?
I also just think that's like, okay, let's trim a few hours off of makeup in the morning.
Yeah, maybe. Because I like the Red Skull stuff. It was
that, or the actor was just like, I am not putting that on ever again. Don't make me do it.
There he is.
I think he was like, I'm not putting it on every day.
It's quite
okay. Well, that's not the best picture.
I mean,
they made a good. I think they made a good go of it. Yeah, it looks quite good.
He looks like a red version of Ooze from the Power Ranger movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
looks like a victim of the Blob. Come on.
So later they just made him look like he was, I don't know, like a
Ivan Ooze.
Like a mobster that had been operated onto. Maybe he looked like something out of Punisher Warzone, or
Jigsaw.
He looks,
That's
Jigsaw, exactly like him. Yeah.
He stumbled off the set of Dick Tracy.
That's right. Which movie am I in?
Man, Mumbles was so good. Dick Tracy.
Oh, that's a different actor. That's not him. But anyway, Scott Paulin. He's in a lot of stuff.
Why is that in there?
Oh, wait till we get there. Teen Wolf, Turner and Hooch, a bunch of stuff. The Right Stuff is a great movie. If you ever see it, played Deke.
Brilliant movie.
Yeah.
Yes,
Which one?
The
Right Stuff.
Yeah.
About the Mercury astronauts.
Yeah, so as to the women, Melinda Dillon, who played Mrs. Rogers, not for long in the movie. She isn't in it for much. Sadly died last year, but she was in a lot of stuff.
Melinda Dillon was Ralphie's
mom. So this
mom.
is Kim Gillingham. Sorry, Kim Gillingham.
Yeah, Melinda Dillon was Ralphie's mom. So if you're a Christmas Story fan, both Ralphie's parents are in this one.
Told you it's a prequel.
Sorry, Kim Gillingham. Kim Gillingham. Sorry, was this is Kim Gillingham. She was Bernice and Sharon. Melinda Dillon I've got later. Sorry, that's my continuity editing is wrong. Kim Gillingham, who didn't do a lot after, she was in.
Be honest, 70s. You're just trying to make sure that it's in the canon tradition.
Yeah, but didn't anybody else find it a bit creepy that he was hitting on his ex-girlfriend's daughter for most of the movie.
Wasn't it granddaughter? Or...
He kind of does that in the MCU too. Or
this is Melinda Dillon.
Actually, no, the niece, right? Yeah.
Niece, yeah.
This is Melinda Dillon. Mrs. Rogers, who of course was in
no cocaine involved in that.
Close Encounters.
Yes.
Absence of Malice. Close Encounters. This is her on stage in 1969. I don't know what to say about that picture, but
I think I know why you picked it. It really, generally you don't go into stage production.
Yes, slap shot. Of course, you had to put the slap shot. We got to see her full frontal there in slap
That's
shot.
not full frontal.
Well, not full. It's forced up.
But she had a fairly minor role in the movie as his mother. But yeah, with heavyweight actress, she has a lot of good stuff and Academy Award nominee.
At least in the front, she's heavyweight.
Oh yeah.
That conversation in that movie, by the way, is priceless. That's funny as hell, right there.
She was in A Christmas Story, of course. So then, of course, there was Francesca Neri, who played the Red Skull's daughter, Valentina, Italian actress. Didn't do a lot of English language stuff. She was in Hannibal and Collateral Damage later. Collateral Damage she was in. But there she is in an Italian movie. Where she did an Italian erotic movie. Somebody protecting her innocence.
Mad. Good job.
When did I become the boob guy? That is the opposite of who
you
I am.
You're the pasty for YouTube.
No, but Mad, that's because you don't want to see them, so that's why they use you to block them out.
You're welcome.
But also, we did mention earlier, Bill Mummy. Mummy is the young Fleming. Obviously, he was in a ton of stuff.
Oh, Fleming. I thought you said flaming. I'm like, go on.
Flaming. And then Carla Casola as Dr. Maria Valeri. See, I had to say it with an Italian accent. So clever that she never needed to write anything down. She just kept all those inventions in her head.
Can I also? So this movie was 1990, and theoretically, if it's done year to year, that would mean that the guy who was the general had been in and was a full lieutenant in 1944. There's no way he's still in the army by 1990.
Well, come on,
46 years later.
He was working on
tell that to a certain Pete Mitchell, who has been in the Navy for 8 years.
4 decades worth, right? Good Lord.
Bush is pointing out she does show Bush in that Italian movie. That's true. But this actress, again, didn't know a lot of English stuff. But she's in one of my favorite spaghetti westerns, Death Rides a Horse. So check that out. She is in that movie. Not the biggest part in it, but she's in it.
Lee Van Cleef.
So she's got some background in a spaghetti western. So
he's the face of the spaghetti western.
I just think the most unbelievable part of this movie is that Italy had scientists.
That's right. So anyway, to our director Albert Payan. Albert Payan, Canon veteran, followed Golan to 21st Century, where he made movies like Deceit, which was one of the lowest budget movies I think ever made. I don't know how much you know about the movie Deceit, Austin, but it was one of Albert's 21st. He made it for $30,000.
Yeah, he would do things where he would save budget on the movie he was working on to shoot another movie over the next 4 days that he would trim off just to.
Yeah,
it's crazy. He could do stuff like that though. He would be writing 2 or 3 scripts at a time and just ease them onto the set of his other films when other actors were sleeping. He would get other people to come in.
Yeah. I think he made 22 movies in the end in total. Not all Canon, obviously, but he did do a bunch of great stuff. These are some of the ones we talked about in a previous Canon Film Club.
I like Core better.
Yeah,
Core
and then 21st he made Blood Match, of course, from the director of Kickboxer 2.
Oh, Kickboxer 2.
And then the screenplay, Stephen Tolkien, I think it was his first major production. He went on to do a number of other things. I wasn't too familiar. Strangely got an NAACP award for one of them. So it's Figure that one out. Yeah. Oh yeah, he made that was it because he made this film Daybreak, so which I've never seen.
Alien L.A. Chad, did we see that?
No, we have not watched that.
No,
one.
we saw the private detective Alien.
Yes.
Forgot what that was.
So Tolkien wrote it. I believe.
Funny thing is the private detective Alien movie we watched with Mad had more Nazis that were punched in it than the Captain America movie from 1990.
True. Yeah, because they. Oh, Hitler.
I can't remember why I bookmarked this, but it was something to do with either Stephen Tolkien or Philip Allen Waters, the DP.
Or showing how
Thrashing.
extreme. It's
I've
not
never
a
seen
kids
this
game anymore.
Never seen this.
When was
Thrashing, not
a
to be
kids game?
confused with
Seen that
breaking.
many,
right?
many years ago.
Not to be mistaken for Airborne.
Look, no, I think you're thinking of Gleaming the Cube, which was the definitive skateboarding
This is
movie
Josh
of
Brolin.
of that
No,
time.
I don't know if either Austin or the wicked fanboy, our friend here, know anything about this movie.
This looks like a rip-off of the movie Rad.
Or Solar Babies, or everything else from the 80s.
I don't know this movie, but I know what I'm watching tonight.
That's right. I'm thinking this looks really good. Look at Josh Brolin there.
You can tell he's a real skateboarder rebel because he's wearing pads in the 1980s.
Yeah,
because that's what skateboarders did.
Had a theatrical.
Yeah.
Wait,
This
what was
is
the one? What was the one with he's from California. He's from Ohio. Oh no, he goes to Ohio. He's a
You're talking about Airborne.
Airborne.
It's the same one you
Yeah,
said.
yeah,
that
yeah.
was a rollerblading movie.
That's right.
That was the 90s.
Rad
Yeah.
was the BMX.
But this is the great thing about these movies. It leads you down the rabbit hole and you find
Oh
all
my
these.
God, yeah.
So anyway, that was and there was music too by. Well, the music is weird because it says on IMDb it's written by a guy called Barry Goldberg, and there's a famous blues rock keyboard player called Barry Goldberg. I'm not sure it's the same guy, but every time you click on it, it goes to his stuff, and he was in a bunch of bands over the years, and yet. Is there another Barry Goldberg? I don't know. Because I think it's not on his own website. And I think either he disowns it or, I don't know if you know any Barry Goldbergs, Austin, that did other music for things.
I'll have to get back to you on that one.
Yeah. But there was a couple of tunes in it. Memories of You, Written in the Wind, or Southside Johnny. And the song Home of the Brave was Ivan Neville, son of Aaron Neville of the Neville brothers. And a fairly high-powered producer these days. So a little bit of okay music, wasn't that bad.
I mean, you said that as if any of us were going to recognize any of those songs.
Southside Johnny. You don't remember Home of the Brave in the film? Have you watched the film? So Jim knows it. He knows it, yeah. I guess they were expecting hits.
I remember it.
Yeah. So anyway, that was the roughly speaking who was involved with the movie. So let's show some stills and we can just talk whatever we want. First of all, I did clip the 21st Century logo, or did I play it earlier?
That was so 80s.
Just
I said it
good.
before, it's so straight to video. That
Yes.
logo tells you that I'm watching this on beautiful VHS.
And it could be anything. It could be G.I. Joe for all you know.
Oh
It works
man,
on all
I could be
movies.
watching Cyborg 2. I could be
Yep.
watching a Steven Seagal movie. It's whatever. It's
just doesn't quite have the epicness of the 20th Century Fox one, does it? I mean,
I could be watching Arena, that space, gladiatorial combat movie. That all of these come to mind hearing that logo.
Escape?
Sweep.
that one screams Roger Corman, doesn't it?
So I think, Austin, I think all the rights to this stuff ended up with MGM in the end.
Yeah. All the Peretti owned stuff ultimately went to MGM through a very.
I'll be right back.
He ended up buying MGM as well, and installing Norm Globus as the president for a very, very brief amount of time.
I like how all I watch is trash, boosh.
Didn't that Italian guy, what's Peretti, that owned MGM, didn't he never release a movie in the time he was there?
They put out some things, and something
Did a Bond movie come out in that era?
Well, no, they didn't make them. That was a part of the problem. That Bond didn't have a break because of him.
Was something that a story that I don't know how true it is, but I've heard is that Yoram Globus, even after, because he was only MGM president for a few months, but sometime in that time he'd signed off or been involved in signing off on Thelma and Louise. So in his office for the rest of his time as a movie producer, he had a big giant Thelma and Louise poster in there, even though he was only probably saw one paper come across his desk.
Right. That was some really good creature effects, by the way, that we get skipped over.
By the way, knowing Globus, by the way, I bet for $100 to anyone right now, he spent every time he introduced himself as the man who discovered Brad Pitt when he greenlit Thelma and Louise.
Right?
He's like, Brad Pitt has a career because of me.
That's right. But Peretti was a real character, I believe.
Yeah, they'll get a lot into that in the third book. It's crazy.
He liked to live the Hollywood mogul lifestyle without actually making any movies. But
he had besides Yoram Globus, he had installed his daughter and his mistress both as high-ranking MGM executives.
Wait a minute, his daughter was his mistress?
Daughter and his mistress.
Oh, yeah, his mistress.
Okay, no.
Daughter,
separate
Oxford, comma, Oxford, comma, and his mistress.
These Europeans.
He's not from Arkansas.
So this is one of the things. So was the Red Skull Italian in the comics? I don't know.
No, he was full-on German.
Right.
Yeah.
So why Italy then? Why was he Italian in this?
I think that's where was it? They filmed in
Yugoslavia.
Well, they intended to film in Italy, but they couldn't afford it in the end, so they had to move to Yugoslavia.
My guess is it was probably a script consideration for where they were gonna film, and then it got changed. So it's just like whatevs. Like Americans aren't gonna know it's not Italy.
Yeah,
no.
So the doctor here doesn't like. She's been working on these secret experiments with the Nazis for years. Now she decides she wants out.
By the way, can we say that this is the root of MCU going woke? Because look, they changed the Doctor to a woman.
Oh, is that changed? I was wondering. I don't know
because in the original comics it was a man. Yeah,
gender bending.
Like Stanley Tucci was a much better representation of the original, of the original Doctor.
I like the fact that they used this to not show us the transformation to Red Skull, so they could save some money. Instead, we see her escaping this heavily guarded fortress.
I mean, they could have just played Black Panther music and we would have got it.
And now the action switches to America.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and then they make Steve Rogers a California kid, which is another great change. Good for them.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, you didn't like him being from Queens?
Sarcasm ass.
See, there's one of the all-time most obvious headlines in history. Yes, the war rages on. Yes,
war
next
not
day's
over
headline.
Yet.
They just keep repeating the headline every day.
I'm more interested in the first French something to escape.
That's right. Yeah. What is that first French?
I want you to promise me you'll never get rid of your polio. Don't try to cure it.
I don't know.
Polio was the gift of your family. Stop trying to get rid of it and be something else.
I mean, how much production info have you got on this movie, Austin, behind the scenes?
This particular incarnation, not a ton, not as much as the various other versions that they developed earlier while it was with Canon. But this would have been a movie that really at this point, Menahem sending people to build movies wherever they had tax shelter money was a big thing. So they had a lot of movies shot in places because they could take their cash out of there. This wasn't a South African production, but they did a lot of South African productions at the time. It was really fast and cheap at this point. Albert was trying to, squeeze out, whatever he could out of what money he got.
Yeah, I mean it, and sometimes it shows.
By the way, at the time in 1990, South African production, not exactly super Hollywood approved. This was peak of the boycott South Africa movement. So
that's just a minor detail.
Free Mandela, man, free Mandela.
Personally, I don't know. So I
What
guess
does his mask look like? What's his name from Star Wars?
it's the
what's his
Phantom of the
name?
Opera.
No. The alien. Part of the rebellion has all the flaps on his face.
Neen Numb, the co-pilot of the Millennium Falcon and Return of the Jedi.
Neen Numb, yes.
They didn't want to film a transformation, so we just see her escaping. How she gets out of this most heavily guarded fortress, I don't know.
It was in Italy, and Italians take breaks fairly frequently, so they probably were on their break, and so she just slipped out at that time.
They couldn't figure out how to shoot while they were gesticulating with their hands while they were yelling at her.
If only they would have looked behind the Casablanca poster, they would have. Or if only they would have looked behind the Mussolini poster, they could have seen the whole.
Didn't you notice the bit where he ran to his girlfriend without the cane?
Yeah, it's right up there with North and South when Patrick Swayze was supposed to have a limp and it just magically disappeared for 70% of the scenes he was in.
Oh, Mr. Grant Gregory is here. Good to see you, buddy.
Go on,
I hope you're all enjoying the show. Thumbs up. Give it all the old thumbs up treatment. We're almost, and if you've not joined us before, please consider subscribing because I'm almost at 1,500.
I love this time period of both bad guys and good guys all smoke. Whereas now, if you're even allowed to have smoking in your movie, it's going to be the most evil person ever.
That's right. And Captain America smoked there, yes.
Hell yeah, he did.
It helps the lungs. That's how you know. It's like Lucky Strike is the best cigarette for polio.
Yeah.
That was probably the adverts at the time.
9 out of 10 surgeons agree.
I have an ad because I'm a Yankees fan. It was Babe Ruth, and it was it was for a cigarette. He ends up dying of throat cancer.
That's right.
And so it's 3 out of 4 doctors recommend this cigarette brand because it goes down smooth and helps your lungs.
Just wow.
So it mentions Superman, of course, which is funny.
Was that an in-joke for Globus right there? It's he may not be Superman 4, but he'll do good on video.
So Jim, before the show, Jim, you were talking about a director's cut of this. Have you ever seen it?
Yes, I understand. I've never seen it, but I understand it exists because Albert Pyun had it. He actually had the director's cut of it in his own library, and he also has 35mm, or had 35mm prints of all his other movies as well.
Yeah,
and there's supposed to be a documentary, I think.
Yeah, you were saying that. So I don't think I've ever seen that. I mean, Austin, have you ever seen?
I haven't seen Captain America. He for a while was selling the director directly while he was still alive, but I believe he got and desist from because he was selling Captain America and he was also selling his cut of Cyborg called Slinger, the black and white one.
On VHS? Was VHS copies or digital?
They were DVD-Rs.
DVD-Rs.
Sold directly through his web.
So there is apparently a director's cut 14 minutes longer than this out there, but it's just more character stuff, I think.
It is DivX compatible too, so that's important. But this was crazy because up until a few years ago, I'd never even seen this in widescreen. So I was like, "Wow, this was actually shot in as a movie." Because I just assumed that they actually shot it, 4:3, because it was for video. And
exactly, no one's ever seen it in widescreen.
Then it comes out on Blu-ray, and I was like, "Oh my god, this thing! It's actually a widescreen. They shot it in widescreen. Wow, there's more here."
I'm impressed by the transformation scene because they've got all this machinery, including very large vials of colored liquid. Where were they pumping those vials into? Because he's only a little guy, where's it all going?
Is he little?
I don't know. I've got actually, let's show the video of the actual transformation scene while we're here. So that's...
Family. For the rest of the world, he's just codenamed Captain America. He may not be Superman, but he'll be a living symbol of what this.
By the way, that's kind of a dig at Captain America.
It is a bit. He's not as good as Superman.
None of that shit.
Is it me, or does this lab look almost exactly like the one in the MCU?
I don't know.
Close. I can see.
Is it good? I've never read the comics. Is this what actually happened in the comics?
No, in the MCU.
in the comics, he's given the serum and then exposed to Vita rays in a little chamber, which is just like the MCU. And then he comes out as Captain America, about 2 feet taller than he was.
I think it holds up well against the MCU one, doesn't it?
Who the hell is this crazy lady? Does she not know what's going on around her?
She's the scientist who comes up with the procedure.
The one that keeps all the information in her head
She doesn't look
for
Jewish.
safety. There you go, all these vials of liquid. What's happening to them?
They're going into the fake muscles, making them get bigger.
Yeah, the woman is the Dr. Vasily who keeps every secret in her head for safety.
I mean, we make fun of that plot point, but it's the same plot point from the MCU version
That's
too.
right,
So it's like
it's exactly the same.
Because it was.
I think up to this point, it actually holds up quite well. I mean, and we'll get to the fights with the first fights with the Red Skull. That stuff's not too bad.
Yeah, but I mean, we're 15 minutes into the movie. Like up to this point, everything holds up pretty well.
Yeah,
we
but
still
then
have like an hour and a half.
but then
One fun thing though, Bill Mummy is like about 5 inches shorter than Darren McGavin, and I think it is funny when they cast him to be the younger. It's like people don't suddenly shoot up, and isn't that's the Red Skull playing an American
That's
doctor?
So this is Scott Paulding. This is Scott Paulding playing the Doctor. So he's in the role. He's in this role too. Yeah.
He's like, I want one scene where I get to look normal for my kids.
That's how he knew what was going on, and he was able to put a spy in there to disrupt the process, because he's hiding as an American doctor. But you look at how racist this is as well. Jerry's calling the Germans Jerry's. That's
It's
just terrible.
appropriate for the time that
It is. It is.
So this is some funny stuff where he heads into action. Looking pretty glum, I have to say.
when Captain America throws his mighty shield.
Yeah.
No, nobody. Okay.
He has the crazy fireproof uniform.
Good stuff. Yes.
It'd be nice if they gave Captain America a coat that would keep him warm instead of.
I love their coat, General or whatever he is, Lieutenant Colonel.
Why does he have a hat on a hat on a hat? Like why?
How many hats do you need?
Yeah, so he's basically saying you're not getting any more gear or any more help because she didn't write anything down because she was such a clever scientist.
You think that we could have took some time to, have a tailor come and make this costume fit?
Or maybe like we could have taken some time to put him through basic training. It's like he got the super soldier serum and they immediately put him on a plane and are going to jump him out of it.
Yeah, they cut into that pretty quickly.
Like Oscar Wilde said, education is an admirable thing, but it's good to remember that anything worth knowing can't be taught. So yeah, just jump in there, bro.
Use a little more time to practice.
Oscar Wilde.
I only just came out of hospital 10 minutes ago.
You're gonna have those two resistance fellas down there to take you through that launch site like they was escorting you to the senior prom. Besides, you got that crazy fireproof uniform Dr. Vasily made up for you.
Oh,
Didn't know much about camouflage. Nope. But
Or-
she sure did love the red, white, and blue.
Because she was Italian, she loved the red, white, and blue.
Yes, I love the red and white and blue.
Wait, were you trying to say that Italian Americans weren't patriotic during World War II?
Isn't their flag?
You want to have some fighting words about that?
You would think, being Italian, she could have made a better fitting suit.
That's not very fashionable, is it? Kept it all in her head for safety. That's why getting killed was a good move.
And the shield out of. She thought it was safer that way.
So you're screwed.
I'm sorry, I believe that you're the only one of you there's ever going to be.
It is funny that he's basically doing the same accent that Tommy Lee Jones uses in the MCU as the commanding officer for Captain America.
Yeah. that non-specific Southern.
Yeah. I am quasi Southern from what part?
Yeah.
From north south
that
Southern.
part, right?
At this point, though, they have missed an important thing they could have done, which is a training montage. So this movie
That's
lacks
true.
montages.
They should have had him throwing the shield and getting a little bit
And
better. with every
paratrooper
throw.
training. What if he'd never
Yeah,
jumped
like-
out of a plane before?
Should have had him like duct tape mattresses to a tree where he's throwing his shield and learning how to catch it.
So it's very
and commenting about racism in America.
Yep.
So this is some quite good stuff. Although he's a terrible fighter, Captain America.
He looks dehydrated. You know what I mean?
I like this. The English lesson. The pen of my
It's the ears, man. It's the ears.
He doesn't seem very confident, but I guess it's his first mission.
How could he be confident? He's had zero training.
No, he's had a lot of training.
And the guy just told him he's all on his own. You know what he's thinking? You know, if you think about the racism of the time, he's like, I'm gonna get jabbed out here.
Did they ever give a like what the shield was made of? Did they bring in vibranium? I can't remember if
no, they just said the scientist doctor had also created it to be super shield for him, and she's super sciencey on everything. Fireproof suit, shield, super soldier. She does it all.
Did he just say ow? Good to see you, Captain America. You're not the only one here.
Just when I am needing help on my
The pen of my aunt is on the table.
Mine is not so far off of his.
I think it's funny that the suit is apparently so well defined you can see all his abdominal muscles, but not well defined to see any biceps or upper body muscles.
No. You do get a good shot of his groin later when he's climbing some stairs. He was wearing a cup, apparently.
Yeah, so there's the eye holes not being quite right because one is like right up on the eye.
Yeah.
Where is the pen
of my aunt? The pen of my aunt is on the table.
Is on the table. Am I saying it right, American?
La plume de ma tante.
When I am getting to New York.
I'm not even from New York.
So apparently he's getting to New York.
I'm Captain America.
So defeats him in the fight and then straps him to the secret rocket, which I've obviously only got one of at this point. But it was Stan Lee's cup. That was Stan Lee's cameo as the cup. He had a cameo in this. I think they cut it for some reason, so his cameo didn't make it in.
Was he ever on the Hulk's TV series? I wonder.
No, but Thor was.
I thought he was I thought it was in the trial of the Incredible Hulk.
Was it?
Was it?
Wasn't he a juror?
He might.
Because I don't remember him being on the TV series, but that was a movie, wasn't it? The Trial of the Incredible Hulk, or was it?
Yeah, that was the one with Daredevil,
right?
With was it what's his name was Kingpin? Sala from Indiana Jones.
Oh, Reese Davis.
Yep.
Oh, apparently Captain America was a juror.
No, don't tell me. I know. It's White House. A present for President Roosevelt.
All right, you can pause it right here. Oh no, dang! Right when it's close up on his costume, it's the right eye. It's like the cut is. See how it's just cut so close.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. Oh.
All right, now I've just ruined the movie for everyone who had never noticed that.
God dang it!
Because the other eye hole is cut fine, but that one is cut like.
Well, I mean, what do you expect from a woman tailor?
And it was like, I know the Globus people were like, we don't have the money to redo the mask, just go with it.
I just feel like I just want to reach out and just pull it over a little, you know?
You can travel cheaply as one, you sick bastard. Now stop the launch. Stop it or I'm taking you with me.
Free airline miles.
I love the fact they hit all the buttons and nothing happens.
If this had been a James Bond movie, they would have had the abort button, but apparently we don't have one here.
No.
Cut off his hand.
Why doesn't he cut off Captain America's hand there?
He doesn't. He cuts off his own hand.
Captain America pulls his arm back at the last second.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, so...
And once you're in that slice motion, there's nothing you can do. Somebody's going to get...
So it's funny you mentioned Bond, because I actually felt that the latter half of the movie, like all that stuff in northern Canada and Italy or wherever it's supposed to be, is all very Bond-like. Cheap Bond-like, but Bond-like. So it turns into kind of a Bond-stroke detective movie for a while, not a superhero movie, which may have been deliberate.
I mean, he does more detective work than Batman did.
There you go.
Just spitting facts.
So meanwhile, that was the former to-be President Kimball, who lives within walking distance of the White House.
There is no housing within walking distance of the White House.
I was going to say.
And it was the days when you could walk around DC as a kid at night without being in trouble. So.
Yeah, definitely not a house like that either. I live in Virginia. I've been to DC so many times.
So these stills didn't get captured when I did this, but he takes a picture of Captain America on the rocket as he's kicking the fin to divert it.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Did you catch it wasn't Submariner. It couldn't have been Human Torch. Nice Marvel expanded universe references right there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The other thing is Captain America remembers him as a kid from being on the rocket passing over the White House.
Well, I mean, he got within a foot of him and had the greatest camera to get motion of all time.
I'm pretty sure he can at least see in 120 FPS. You know what I mean? He's going to be able to catch the kid. I mean, he's goddamn Captain America.
Captain America can see in 4K in 1944
right
because he's got the super soldier serum.
There's the Submariner Human Torch, yeah. But these guys are obsessed with Red Skull, Captain America, conspiracy stuff, whatever you'd call it, conspiracy, yeah. And then, of course, Ralphie. Kimball goes on his career. He wants to be president. See, that should have ruled him out from being allowed to be president in the first place.
By the way, go back one image, like, was it normal to just have local boy goes to Vietnam as your normal? Like, every person got a headline for going to Vietnam with their picture on the front page.
Unfortunately, a couple of million. Was pretty common. Yeah, in local, because that's local paper. Isn't it Springfield or something? It says the Springfield Examiner.
Yeah.
That looks like
the real. They did the entire plot of the MCU first Captain America movie in 15 minutes.
Springfield Examiner, that's it. Soviet nuclear accident. Experts suspect a meltdown. Yes. Kimball wins presidency. So he lives in Springfield, but he could walk to the White House.
There is a Springfield, Virginia, that's actually 15 minutes from Washington, D.C.
Okay, it's not Illinois then. So
it would make sense if he was in Springfield, Virginia. That would make sense that he could get to the White House within 30-40 minutes driving, but not just walking down the street.
Yeah. So he's president now, and he turns out to be a bit of an eco warrior, which is the thrust of his
fucking 90s man
thing. I do like the bit at the end of the movie where it says support the 1990 Environmental Protection Act. Well, nobody saw the movie, so it'd be a bit difficult to support it. They saw it 2 years later. Well, it's done.
I love that this table and dinner and cabal of evil people looks like it's straight out of the beginning of The Naked Gun, the first one,
right?
where they're all just meeting, talking about their evil anti-environmental plans.
It also reminds me of, what's that movie, Chad, that we watched with the dude? He was like a James Bond but had a monkey, and the guy gets his head ran over for real by a three-wheeler. Oh, what was that movie called?
Somebody in the chat will have to tell us.
Yeah, wow. It's a good movie, but it had that was another Nazis are back from the Hitler came back from the dead movie.
I actually do like the Red Skull's reasoning here, but he says, "No, don't kill him, but you just make him a martyr. Let's just take him over." That's quite good reasoning.
Wait, take him over with what?
Brain control. They're going to control his mind.
They're going to give him the brain pains,
like the Riddler.
They're going to give him brain worms.
Yeah.
Or like the bad guy in the Generation X made-for-TV movie? Wasn't that his thing too?
It is nice that they were going with the corporations being evil, because I had never seen that in 1990.
It was quite progressive.
Oh, that is a great shot of the terrible ear, by the way.
We'll come back to that. Yeah, that was quite progressive, if you think about it.
I love the juxtaposition of the environmental bullshit, but with everybody smoking. That's
right, yeah.
We gotta do something about this rainforest shit.
This evil cabal is sponsored by Embassy.
Does anyone expect him to grab a bat and just hit one of them at any minute, like it's straight out of
Untouchables?
The Untouchables. Like if I'm working
Thank you,
for an
Slender.
evil organization and I'm at a table and the boss starts walking around us, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah,
Don't
no,
be
I'm-
me. Don't be me.
nuh-uh.
Don't be me.
So this whole bit is their thing, the thing scene, where they kind of do
Order
a
of the
little
Black
bit of
Eagle, by the way.
the thing.
Oh yeah, it does look a lot like the Norwegian guys that, you know, doomed us all.
Exactly.
Right?
So he wakes up, and then next minute he's walked to northern Canada. Well, they didn't
Excuse
hide
me,
this.
Alaska is part of Canada.
It
Haven't
is
we established
apparently.
that?
Well, let's slender dad about that. Isn't Alaska Canadian? People from Alaska are definitely Canadians.
I mean, they're more Canadian than they are Americans.
So, but it's still quite a distance to walk from there to northern Canada.
That's all cocaine. This isn't a Jerry Bruckheimer film. What are you talking about?
I mean, he's berating Ned Beatty for being a conspiracy theorist. That's all they've done, the two of them, all their lives. Is that stuff.
Wait, what does that sign say? It was in Italian. It was something about aliens.
It said, parliamo bird's eye.
Oh my goodness, the aliens are here. No way that just happened. Why is
Arctic
everybody
man
counting
found in
around
ice.
Hollywood?
I'm waiting for it to come back again because I have very little control, fine control over these. Just gotta let it run. Anyway, we'll see in a second. So that's when you're introduced to his daughter, of course, the Red Skull's daughter. So they're trying to get a little bit of sex appeal in the movie.
What, with him?
No, his
Missed
daughter.
the mark.
There you go. No, the
Oh.
daughter. Come on, you were involved in her movie
Right here, right
earlier.
here.
Do we know why the Red Skull would be this obsessed with Captain America at this point in his life? Like, it's one guy. World War II is over now. What is Captain America going to do to derail his plans that he's that concerned to dispatch his entire
take his other
familial crew?
Yeah, I mean,
not to mention he's literally interacted with him once and shot him on into the
him in a rocket.
ocean.
Strapped up to
I
him.
mean, I know Italians are known for holding grudges, and he did lose a
True.
hand, but it's 50 years later. He should probably be like, if I just leave him be, nothing's going to touch me, so I should just proceed with my plans.
Oh, maybe. So the problem was he took a knife to a rocket fight. So yeah, all of a sudden he's in northern Canada. They don't quite explain that because it's probably like 2,000 miles away. But
He's Captain America. I mean, he's
Captain
no
America.
Superman, but
he is Captain America. That's right. And then he's easily located by not only Ned Beatty but some Italian chicks that are on bikes trying to kill him.
I'm no geography-ologist, but I feel as though the wild in Canada is a little too big for Ned Beatty to just come across him.
He just finds him there. I mean, there's a lot of land up there.
Ned Beatty knows his woods. He's spent a lot of time making sure he wouldn't get lost ever again.
Yeah.
True, it is another Batman Dark Knight Rises. Yeah.
But that Captain America outfit must be a bit stinking by now. He's been wearing
I
it
was
for
fixing to
40 years.
say, man, it's seen better days.
Yeah.
Well, you got to remember it was freeze dried, so that probably helped
true,
take care of
yeah.
things.
Oh, dude, is that what's her name from Resident Evil? And
Oh yeah. Anyway, yeah, I just find this whole fact that they find him so conveniently, the good guys and the bad guys.
Wait, how did he know they were Nazis?
Yeah.
Because they spoke Italian, Mad.
That's right. Obviously, they're Nazis. They're not just Italian tourists.
Well, I mean, historically, that's the one way you could really tell a Nazi is they spoke Italian very
The
well.
Italian accent, yeah.
Oh, you're gonna get it.
Oh, what's the matter, you Captain America?
What's the matter for you?
What's the matter?
You
with you?
scared?
Hey, show me some respect.
Oh, Captain America, why are you breaking my bones?
Shut up in your face.
Well, it was Canadian, but like, hey, Captain America. No, that's still fucking whatever.
Look
Doesn't matter.
at Ned Beatty committing to being a reporter. It's like, I'll put the pencil in my ear. It'll really sell my character.
That's right, yeah. While I'm driving across thousands of miles of northern Canada.
Good shot.
That thing does not apply. Does not abide by the laws of physics.
No, it does not. Oof.
No.
She should shoot at the truck. It'd be a lot easier.
What? Why is he running from her? She has a 9mm. That's a Beretta. Mother, you have a shield.
Right?
Again, Beretta, an Italian gun known for.
Well,
being
come on,
the
wouldn't
choice
you
of-
run from an angry Italian girl with a gun? I would.
It had to be the fact that it was a female, because I saw him in the MCU once just run right at a minigun with that shield.
Do you have this part, by the way? The best part in this movie? Maybe in any Marvel movie ever?
I don't know, but you'll tell me.
No.
The bit where he steals the car?
Yes.
I have to bounce, guys.
Oh, right.
I apologize.
No, my friend.
Austin, take care, man. Good to see you.
Always good to see you.
So, yeah, just everybody go and check out the Canon film guides. I'm just going to call that up on the screen here. Oh, right. Well, I would, but anyway, I'll show them at the end of the show, mate. But thank you very much, Austin, for being here. Appreciate it, buddy. We'll be doing another one of these in a month. I don't know if you've got any preference for movies. If you want to,
Keep me posted.
Yeah, we'll do, mate. But I really appreciate you being here. Take care, mate. And
anytime. Thank you.
I'll plug your stuff later. Cheers.
Have a good one, guys.
Buddy.
Enjoy this
Thanks.
movie.
Take care, Austin.
Later.
Cheers.
By the way, I would vote for the King Solomon Mines movies because the background on those ones is terrible. Like
Wow.
Sharon Stone being a complete witch on the
We
set.
might do
Anyway.
King Solomon's Mines. Yeah. So this, thanks to Austin. I'll throw
Richard
up the,
Chamberlain.
throw up the links to his stuff later.
It's
at
a
the end
nice
of the
touch with Shogun just finishing too. Just
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
So this is an important scene because he's been out of touch for a while. He thinks the Germans are still the enemy, and the fact that Ned Beatty's driving a Volkswagen means he's a German spy.
I mean,
what
realistically, this is straight out of the MCU. Remember when Captain America, Steve Rogers wakes up and they're like, "I was at this ball game. You're all spies trying to trick me."
Right.
And he beats up all the Shield guys and runs away.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as creative or as awesome as "I'm feeling sick, pull over."
That's right. I'm Captain America, and I get carsick.
By the way,
And then he steals the vehicle.
Oh, God, I can't believe you don't have this clip. He's like, he goes, "I'm feeling a little sick. Can you pull over?"
That's right. And they said, "I can't pull over, but I can sweat her." So anyway, now we get one of the songs. This is where one of the songs was played. This is a Molson Canadian, a nice touch. Molson Canadian.
Remembers an old lady.
That's he's dreaming of his old girlfriend back in. Somehow, this truck full of Canadian beer is being delivered to Redondo Beach.
Wow.
Very specifically is. I know. Yeah, this is. I like this moment. That's the cast from that skateboard movie.
That looked like the cast from the opening scene of the Terminator, man.
Probably was. They probably played every fucking Hollywood between 1985 and now.
Look like class of 19. What was it? 90?
1984.
It's funny because I feel this wasn't shot in California, right? This part. I think this was this South Africa.
I don't know. It could be. The house looks just the same though.
Because it does remind me of the Mel Gibson movie Forever Young. Was set like at that same house, looked like the same exact house right on the beach.
It could be. Yeah, it could be. It's everything standing in for California.
Yep.
You know what? Her old lady makeup is about on par with Peggy, whatever her name is.
Haley Atwell.
Haley Atwell,
in the MCU.
yeah.
Don't hate on Haley Atwell.
All I said was the
Never
old.
would.
No, but
old
he's
lady
right.
makeup.
The makeup was good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. It's really
Not
good.
bad.
When you're an actor and you have to play a role where you get the old person makeup, do you feel bad? You're like, oh no, I really see what I'm gonna look like when I'm old, and I don't like it.
Hold on, she was 38 when they were together. Bro,
right.
that's a red flag. How are you gonna make it to 38, not be married, have no kids? No, bro, she dodged the bullet. You know what? He should
Run,
be
Cap,
He should be
run.
thinking Red
The thing
Skull
is,
for.
he's been in it Frozen for 40 years. He wants to get it on, so he's just testing her out there.
But all right, so she should. By the way, she's the best looking 84-year-old person I've
I was
ever
just gonna
seen.
say, yeah, that's
Because if she was 38, she'd be 84 now. They couldn't have gone with I was 26 when or I was 22, 23.
I'm sure you do. He's the president.
Now, Bush, I think he was talking about from Winter Soldier when he visits her in the bed.
Phantom's right.
Yeah.
Where
was
did he
a
get the
CGI in that
oddly
one.
specific?
He dies in Civil War, if you remember. Yeah.
Yeah, he
And
finds out.
that was so messed up because then they gave one of the greatest Steve Rogers Captain America speeches from the comics to Peggy Carter.
Yeah,
Like,
that did
it was
suck.
like F you, asshole.
Yeah.
So once more, the Italians have been able to figure out everything that's going on. And
But look how evil they are too. They're beating up an old lady to get the information.
That's right.
I'm okay
He's
with
like, he's like, I won't tell you where he's at with my granddaughter that he's gonna get with. So it's
I
fine.
thought it was her daughter, not her granddaughter.
This haircut is not flattering to her face.
But I mean, he hits on all generations, so fair play to him. He's not age specific.
I mean, if she was 38 in like 1944, and that's supposed to be her daughter, she would have waited till like her mid 40s or 50s to have a child. This is
I don't think she can't be 38.
Isn't that what they just said in the movie?
Well, that could be a misprint on the.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Shit.
Captain Midnight Decoder.
Wait,
Yeah.
what happened to him? Oh,
They're all shot and heart attacked, and was that Ellen DeGeneres?
Yeah, it kind of looks like Ellen DeGeneres' slightly more attractive cousin.
So
my only question about that whole interrogation is, what did she know about quality control at Boeing?
That's right.
Who is this old guy? We just saw
That's her dad
Homeboy-
because they broke
her
into
dad.
the house and they beat
Shot.
up her dad and
Ned Beatty.
the mom.
And Ned Beatty, wasn't he
Yeah.
there too?
Yeah.
Because everyone knows where this house is.
Well, it makes sense in the fact that
It does.
once you know that Darren McGavin is a spy traitor, he could be he's feeding the same information to the Red Skull as they're getting it and giving it to the president. I mean, you have to assume that's what's happening for it to make sense. But
Look at all the blatant advertising all over this thing.
Oh, yeah.
Del Taco was still around. Wow.
Apparently,
Del Taco is still around.
Wow.
Apparently, it was all Yugoslavia. There wasn't any South Africa.
that explains why all the people were dressing like it was the 1950s still in 1990. They're all wearing blue jeans because, like, God dang, that's all we're going to wear now.
So, our great friend Christian Delorme, Christian's Vinyl Revival, who's doing a show on Wednesday night on his channel on 38 Special. So check that out. And his channel has super chatted. Thank you, Christian, for that. $5 Canadian. Thanks for being background entertainment while I work. Cheers, boys. Well, thank you, sir, for helping keep the lights on here.
Sorry for all the Canadian jokes, Chad.
Because these streams are not monetized.
So this secret lab was in the back of a Del Taco?
Possibly.
It wasn't a Del Taco then.
But I do have a clip to play in honor of Christian's super chat. So,
boy, that was really something. I never thought it could be like this. Never in my wildest imagination. You're really something special.
so that one's for Christian and for the great D. Bud Martin, who's
Still a better love story than Twilight.
Who's modding away. D. Bud Martin. That one clip was not just for Christian; it was for you. No, she didn't get married until she was 38. She waited 16 years after he disappeared.
I stand by what I said. 22 is still old for that time.
Very true, actually.
So Deep Bud, finally, yes, I played that clip. Finally, I have played that clip. And she was a pretty sexy sheep, I have to say. But yeah, so this is the old secret
you
lab.
can take the Scotmans out of Scotland. But you can't,
you can't
take them out of the sheep.
I was just going to say that. You beat me to it. Anyway, so they found the old secret base, which is behind Taco Bell or whatever. Red
Del
Lobster.
Taco.
It's Red Lobster.
they're bankrupt now, so we can't talk about them.
What? No, that was a right-wing conspiracy.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, all endless shrimp is done forever.
Man, I'm gonna miss those biscuits though.
So there was an end to endless shrimp.
Apparently.
Yes.
Mind blown.
Why is it
put them under?
How is Dr. Vasili's diary, the doctor who invented the super soldier stuff, just sitting there chilling
I thought she
in
kept
the
it all in her
secret
head.
lab?
She never wrote anything down apart from the diary. Of course. So
Yeah.
it's just sitting there out in the open.
You'd think
What is
that
the
that
Yakuza
lieutenant
doing here?
That's the worst lieutenant colonel in the history of the military, where he's like, "Oh, I'm running this super awesome program to make super soldiers. The scientist dies. Let me just leave all her shit right there and just walk away." Because God knows they wouldn't have any details that are relevant that I could use.
We'll build a Del Taco around it. Nobody will ever find it.
He's like, I've always wanted to be a franchise owner. Now's my opportunity.
Now, see, Chad, you say that, but the Army lost a tank for 27 years that was just sitting in a field. So, anything's possible.
I mean, we've lost nuclear bombs that are falling off of planes for longer than what it should have been.
I feel
in
like
America.
we didn't actually lose them, and somebody got paid. But never mind.
This movie moves at a breakneck speed because not only have they escaped the attack at the restaurant and are now in Italy within seconds, also the president's been kidnapped, and he is also in Italy. So that happened.
But he was at that world leaders summity thing, right? That's why he was dispatching the reporter to do his legwork.
You see that he should never have visited those hookers. That's where they got him.
Oh, look at the that was a nice testament to the era. Next time we'll have it made in Japan.
That's right. Yeah, that was a good one.
I'm feeling sick.
But this is where I think it turns into more of a Bond thing, a pretend Bond movie.
What a perfect
visor
shot.
eye back then.
Yes. That was a
Go back a
perfect
couple.
shot.
So he talked about doing Bernie and Sharon there, I noticed. But
He's just like, look,
he's in the Arctic for 40 years. He's gagging for it. Hey, Das Wolfen, good to see you, mate. Oh, don't worry. Thanks for joining the here. Appreciate it, mate.
He's like, we need to be quick about this. We've got all that Euro trash following us. We can't get caught.
Yeah, and now I mean this detective work he's doing, it's quite amazing what he finds out, and really he's the Red Skull's secret base is found because his daughter's got a driver's license. So, like, oh, that was easy. Why didn't we just check our driver's license to start with?
It's interesting to see how we started with him in the costume, and then there's the whole second act where he's basically not in it until the third again. Whereas in today, you have to have an entire season of bullshit before they even get into the suit.
Into the costume, right? Yeah.
But it's really like a Bond movie now with some detective elements in it, Not much of a superhero movie per se. Which is fine because,
and like Matt said, he does better detective work than Batman did. Yeah,
Yep.
It's amazing.
Well, indeed, he finds the super secret base.
Look, it's a Bond car too.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I mean, this chase is right out of. This chase is like more out of Condor Man, but it's cool.
I love D-Bud's comment. How many people in Italy have the last name of Skull?
I'm looking for first name Red, last name Skull.
Signore Skull.
Oh man!
Wait, how about if I say it like this? Editor Red Skull. Oh, why didn't you say so? Yes, of course.
His assistant passes him a clean press shirt every 10 minutes. Yeah, but they have the old escape scenes from the village. The drive. They had to work in a car chase. And the fight in the restaurant, whatever. Just
where are they getting all these clothes? Like,
well, there you go. It says Secret Fortress. That's right.
I like how is he like carrying the shield on his back, like under the jacket? It looked like he had a humpback in that.
No, I think that's
shot.
just not
that's just the polio acting.
That's just the polio acting.
Because it actually made the polio bigger.
We wanted to be authentic, so we cast a dude who did have polio.
It may have been activated by the water. That polio.
It is Czech Republic water or whatever place they filmed.
Oh yeah,
Yugoslavia. Because it's nice. It's the was it the Adriatic?
Yeah, Adriatic.
Yeah, there's lots of lovely places there, and you can see. That
I
it's
know
really
during
nice.
the 90s, it was known for being a lovely, peaceful zone of the world.
That's right. Yeah.
No ethnic cleansing was ever
Not,
going on there.
no strife at all. It was just peace and love.
Oh my gosh, it was clearly the Red Skull's influence.
Yes.
No, we'll put a fedora on him. Everybody will like, oh yeah, he has to be in Italy.
I was fixing to say.
Hold on, I was like,
That's a real fashion statement
it's like,
with the
well, how do
Letterman
you-
jacket and the fedora.
It's like, how do we keep losing him? Well, you see, when he's not wearing red, white, and blue with a giant A on his head, he's very blendable. He blends in.
I'd like to ask Jim, who is a screenwriter, what he thinks of the writing in this movie.
But in the theatrical cut,
Yeah.
pretty standard. Nothing spectacular. Obviously, we don't see the director's cut, whatever was in the director's cut, and considering the plot holes here and the big giant gaps in time here, obviously, scene jumping to scene. You really can't tell too much of script structure here. But basically, it tells a story from point A and goes to point B to the very end.
So that might be, the gaps are where they've cut those bits out, because it goes from bang from there to there very quickly.
It's still a more coherent story than we get, from a lot of different studios today.
It holds up better than the Marvels.
Is it any worse than the Marvels? And that
there's the Shield.
I should remind everybody that there is a poll. If you haven't voted in it, we're going to be ending it soon. Check that poll out.
Has he been carrying this bag the whole time?
Yes.
Yes, he had somebody in the chat said he oddly specifically shaped bag for a shield.
There had to be an easier way to get there.
Which he found in a truck coming from Canada to Redondo Beach. This is the most, he escapes by hiding behind a
door,
a bathroom cabinet, basically.
Again, these are Italian thugs, so
Yeah.
they're gonna not be doing as much as they need to unless they're being paid specifically for something.
Where's the gabagool?
The football's on.
Oh, you're a sneaky one.
Yeah,
He's like, we're the best dressed crime family around, so you can't mess with them.
Hey, not for nothing, but union rules say we gotta take a equity 5 here.
Half the location shoot money went to the suits that the Red Skull's crew wears.
Well, this is where he's does he say gee whiz or something? He's I think actually I have that clip. Hang on. Share. Yeah. Let's take a look at that little.
God, his ass looks horrible. Man, I'm telling you, dude. This
is not America's ass.
No, that
Sorry.
is not America's ass.
Let me take off my casual loafers and
think
change to my Captain America costume.
You think he leaves on the tube socks though?
Probably.
Those boots probably chafe. He's probably wearing.
There you go. Wasn't it a touching moment?
I'll be honest. I talked over it. I did not hear anything he said.
Didn't say anything.
He didn't say anything. That's
just music, bro.
He didn't say anything.
If the music was better, that moment might have hit better.
What,
but
like
it
the
had
binary sun scene
but
in
it had
Star Wars?
Yeah, but it had straight to video level
fact-
like music, so
To me,
it didn't really do anything.
Because Matt Salinger looked like he was trying to perform in I Am Sam. It was.
You never go full, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean Pinworm did.
Please come back, Mr. President.
Yeah, Phantom Outside is right. If they had half the budget of the Marvels, this movie would have been an all-time masterpiece.
Really need me for your little plan, don't you?
Really?
Of course.
The interesting thing is, for the era, Captain America was probably the easiest of the Marvel heroes to actually put on film.
There's no transformation and like the Hulk. Just has to put the suit on and.
I mean, if you get an actor and you just had him work out for like 4 or 5 months, you shoot the transformation, the beginning of the scene. I mean, we've seen actors do this before in the 80s. Like you can even go to Bobby De Niro, right, when he did Raging Bull. He swung from boxing level body to build one. I mean, they could have done shot the guy before he worked out and then done the workout, and you could have pulled it off. But
you could have,
But they didn't really invest. Like Salinger, his body that he has through the whole movie, they could have used for the pre-transformation if they sent him to a trainer, maybe roided him up since this was the late 80s, early 90s.
Right.
You could have, I mean,
Yeah, 'cause they don't do it now.
just
cool
have
with
him
that.
meet with Mark McGuire and Jose Canseco's guy, and he would have been,
He
ready
could
to
the
go.
Bass Brothers.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of things about this. First of all, he dives off the cliff, the side of the fortress, and he's grabbed and pulled out of view by. Now the Red Skull kind of gives up pretty easily. He looks over and goes, "Nah, he's
I
done."
was fixing to say the Red Skull's reaction
Like-
looked like a
it's
fluff
like,
girl went
oh,
too
well.
far and finished the
But
job. I mean,
This bit is where he
nice.
says, "We've met before." This is where he. Oh yeah, I took that super wonderful picture of you, and I remember you from the rocket.
Before we
And Captain America's creepy, right? So.
I've kept your picture in my wallet all these years.
You mean
he gave him the look of creep.
You were the little boy.
for this moment for a
Captain
long
America's
time.
like, I remember every little boy I met.
Maybe the Coulson moment in Avengers was an ode to that, man. Maybe that's what that was.
Maybe.
It's just
Like
I like-
that when he meets him.
By the way, his body, we were talking about his build, is like the avatar in a video game before you define it in any way whatsoever. It's like the default.
Yeah, it is.
You haven't decided how you want
With
him to
perfect
look.
abs. Yes.
The absolute baseline.
Yep.
No mods whatsoever.
Nothing.
Oh man.
Eurobase 3.
I've
So
got Euro
Eurobase
trash.
3.
Euro trash 3. Yeah. I mean, I like the location. It's a good location.
It's crazy. He looks the same age as he did 30 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
And you have the a bit of a fight scene, but it's like, okay, he fires a few bullets. There's a couple of punches.
Like you said, though, it's so hard to take Ronnie Cox seriously as one of the good guys, especially like you say, Total Recall and RoboCop.
Yeah.
But even later, if you've seen Stargate SG-1, he plays Senator Kinsey. He's one of the best villains in the show.
Wouldn't it have been great if the twist was that he wasn't a good guy, and right at the end he betrays
He's
Steve?
actually
Right,
the
he's
bad guy,
Hydra
yeah.
all the way,
Okay.
right?
This is a good shot of the eye hole being off because look how far back it goes.
Yeah.
Like, come on. How did you not just fix that? Just
I think
fix
I
it.
got a couple more.
the whole production,
How did the
Yeah,
actor
that's
not
right.
bitch about it? That's the thing, man.
Right? It would bug the shit out of him.
brother.
Oh.
I mean, this is like the Tyson Fury. I mean,
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
That has to hurt. Yeah. Oh,
I love it when I
brains.
see the president murder someone on screen.
Here come the bird. So this is where they get some sexy shots in.
Oh, here we go. Cat fight. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm glad they immediately skip back to the
I mean,
to the guys.
he's no Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford kills at least 7 or 8 people before he's out of breath.
By
what
the
about
way, Ronnie
Jamie
Cox. Ronnie Cox was involved in a movie with the best cat fight ever. Total Recall. That's
Oh
right.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, what kind of weak throw was that he couldn't even get it in the air?
Bro, did you see how far he had to go to get it?
Interesting. The suit isn't bulletproof. Just it's just fireproof.
You know what's
Yeah, in the
interesting,
comics,
though?
there's actually it's a layer of chainmail
Oh
on
my
his upper
God.
body to be bulletproof.
What a weak thumbs up he gave.
Well, hold on though, but this Captain America is smarter than the present day MCU Chris Evans because he knows, if I just hold it up, he'll shoot my legs. Let me lay down, roll, be entirely behind the shield.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Spider-Man ain't webbing him.
No.
Look at that! Look at he's catching the fist right in the hand. That's a pretty good presidential fighter right there.
Yeah. Well, he was a war hero. He was a war hero.
Some of these still shots are perfect, man. The one with the girl blinking at you, it was
It's Ronnie
perfect.
Cox going, what the hell did I get myself into here?
He's like, man, I can't wait to go do that special Star Trek: The Next Generation 2-parter coming up.
Actually, wasn't that right about this time?
It was. That's why I referenced it. Yeah, where he was Jellicoe or whatever his name.
Yeah,
was.
Can you go back one?
Yep.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, it's a.
His shield looks like a
Try.
lollipop. Because the has this this
back.
glaze to it, this shine. Watch, you'll see it.
Yeah, we gotta let it run back to that point.
When did they get this guy? Well, I don't.
He buffed his shield, is what you're saying. He buffed it up.
Oh boy.
To a highly
I've yet to see a shot of this costume that looked good.
So how accurate is this costume? How comic accurate is the costume?
All right, so the comic costume, this is accurate for like the 1940s style version.
Yeah.
But by the 70s, 80s, and later, they actually when you see Captain America's costume, you see they'll draw like little like mail on the upper body because it's
scales on it.
Yeah, because it's a Kevlar scale weave because they wanted to address that he was vulnerable to gunfire, and so
look at it right there.
Yeah.
It does kind of look like a lollipop. Yeah.
It does look like a lollipop. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
By the way, this is the same shield that was just shot multiple times by that MP5. He took a second and buffed it all out.
So I think Winter Soldier probably has the best Captain America suits of any of the movies.
Yeah.
The stealth suit, the regular one, and then when he goes back to the throwback original. But
right,
they're functional, but they still look like Captain America suits.
I still say to this day, Winter Soldier is the best MCU movie ever. I don't care what anybody says.
So I do like the fact he's got a grand piano.
Well, yeah, why is it, you would not put that outside?
Unless you're shooting a music video, an Italian music video.
He's like, wait, why? Red Skull, why do you have that here? Axl Rose was here.
I was just going to say Guns N'
November Rain.
Guns N' Roses sprung to my mind. They're just
so
over
I'm trying out for them. I'm trying out for the Duran Duran tour.
It's a view to a kill. I like the fact he finally defeats him by playing him piano music. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, this is where they pay off to that whole. What I kept thinking through this thing. Why are they focusing on this wire recorder?
Doesn't he look very special in that look? Like he looks like he's like, hey, you guys, I'm Captain America.
Make a wish, Captain America.
But the ears are perfect. They got the ears right, man.
I didn't have your secret weakness, Captain America. Here, have a baby Ruth.
That piano's already out of tune. 70 million candles in the wind.
Yeah, all I'm seeing is Jigsaw. I don't see Captain. Red
Jigsaw,
Skull. I don't see Red Skull at all. Yeah.
And this is the bit where this is the best part of the movie because. Cap throws his plastic shield at the Italian Red Skull and he ragdolls off the cliff hundreds of feet to his death with one
swing of his mighty shield.
I don't know if I might even have that clip. I've got some.
DeSantis!
Ron DeSantis!
We are both tragedies.
Speak for yourself.
They really tried to put some.
You really hammed this up now.
Speak for yourself.
They really tried to put in some character in this one.
By the way he like halfway underhanded that really made me think he got a lot of effort into that throw.
Man, it was T-pose all the way down. Did you see his arms?
It's like, I can make the shield go any direction I will. Didn't you know that?
Right.
And there he is, heroic.
Did he
only
kill
did
that
one
woman?
thing wrong.
Yes,
he
he
stared
did.
at the camera when he turned around.
He did.
Yes.
Did he? I missed it.
Chopped her head off.
Yeah, she's completely. The physics says she's really dead with the shield going that fast at that velocity, like hitting her right in the head. Yep, he's ending the Red Skull's line. There will be no more Red Skull children. Oh, look at the. There you go. Super. Hey, you guys.
Marty Feldman eyes.
Yeah, Read by Nature goes for Infinity War. I like Winter Soldier as a movie.
I do too.
I think Winter
Civil
Soldier's
War.
the
I
best.
think Civil War may be my favorite.
I just love the thing about Winter Soldier. I dig is the whole message of the movie, the dangers of the surveillance state and all that stuff. I think it's just awesome.
Civil War,
but I'm a fan of big government.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Winter Soldier
to Big Brother.
What? Winter Soldier was when the MCU was branching out, trying to do like specific genre films within the MCU.
The spy movie, yeah,
and it was the most effective one because they did the 70s like spy thriller,
Yeah.
I mean, even casting Redford on purpose to evoke, like, the 3 Days of the Condor and all that, so that they would have that in there. I mean, Civil War really wasn't any. It was just like, how many toys can we put on screen? And it was awesome.
It was more than that. Fuck off, Chad.
It was a good movie, but it
best Black Panther we ever got.
It should have been. Yeah, it was. You're right about that. But it should have been an Avengers movie. I don't think that should have been a Captain America.
The Civil War movie was only because Zack Snyder and Warner Brothers had announced Batman v Superman, and Feige likes to eat people's lunch, so he immediately was like, it was supposed to be the Serpent Society. That was going to be like the third movie. And they're like, no, Feige's like, let's make it Civil War and get everybody in it, and we'll release it a month after the Batman v Superman, so that no one cares about that movie.
Yeah. But you're right, they were doing genre movies. I mean, Ant-Man was the comedy.
Was a heist movie.
Yeah.
Pepper Cotton's voting for the first Iron Man. I think the first Iron Man does stand up extremely well. It was a very good movie.
First of all, Iron Man's always been my favorite, and we got ours first.
And it was a surprise how good it was. I think at the time it was like good.
You know what else actually isn't that bad? It was The Incredible Hulk. I've been rewatching with all the MCU movies with my son now that he's old enough, and so we're doing them in order. And so we did Iron Man, then we did Incredible Hulk, and I was like, I forgot this was actually a pretty decent movie.
Edward Norton one?
Yeah, the Ed Norton one. Yeah.
Yep.
So, D-Bud Martin, who's a great mod, has been modding all afternoon. Thank you, buddy, for all that modding you do in this channel. I appreciate it. $5. You owe me for making me watch this movie again this weekend. Wait a minute. Then why am I paying you to say this? Well, now that you've done that, you have to get a video. But I don't want to overdo the sheep one. I've played it before, so you're going to get this one.
You lost your edge. You're the loser, punk.
Was that Breaking?
Chill.
Yeah, it was Breaking.
Well, we did Breaking last time. Breaking and Breaking too. So,
Mad, you weren't here for that, were you? The Breaking and Breaking 2.
I don't think Mad will be here ever again.
He couldn't show Van Damme dancing in the background.
Oh, I could show you that anytime you want. That's
from Double Impact?
No.
Oh my God, I had no idea.
The muscles from Brussels and Breaking.
We have
did you ever see the
Breaking?
Vin
Wasn't
Diesel?
it Breaking 2?
Did you ever see the Vin Diesel teaching you how to break dance video?
Oh, it was the first Breaking. That was the first.
Was it the first Breaking? It's they got shot so close together. It's hard to remember.
Last show we did was Breaking and Breaking 2. Last Canon Film Club. Before that was Cobra.
Ooh, Cobra's a good one too.
So,
you're a doozy.
I want to we're going to have to start wrapping up soon. But thank you everybody in the chat for your mentioning of your favorite MCUs. I'm going to end the poll now, and we have had 41 votes. So let's end the poll. I didn't actually talk about what was in the poll, but we've ended it now. So the question in the poll was, why can I not paste this in? Well, there we go. Question in the poll was, is Captain America 1990 the worst Marvel movie?
Not even close.
So coming top in the answers was with 56% was gee whiz no, the Marvels is worse.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Second with 17%, there was a Captain America 1990. Third with 14%, nope, it's awesome. And rightly last at 12%, yes, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. And that 12% can go ahead and unsubscribe to my channel because you're not going to.
Probably you. You probably voted.
Somebody want to post that link?
I did. Nope. It's awesome. That was me.
So
it's Geek Cinema on Mad's channel.
G-Quiz No, the Marvels is worse came first, and I'm very glad about that because my thoughts on this movie are it's pretty bad, but you can see that's for various budgetary and other reasons. But on the whole, it's not a bad effort given its time and money.
Right. The
And
comic
it's
book stuff
70s. Hold on.
coming
Pull
out
over
back
the
then.
stream. I'm feeling sick.
Right. Yeah, the comic book stuff coming out at that time. I mean, really, they knocked one
There
out.
was
of the park
none.
with the
There
Hulk.
wasn't.
Yeah.
There wasn't
The
any.
Hulk
It was
was
TV
about the only
movies.
thing that.
Yeah.
The Red Skull stuff's great, except when he turns into Jigsaw.
All
I
right,
put this
here's
about the level of the Spider-Man TV
Japanese?
series.
Oh, no, so the problem that this
No,
movie
not the
had
Japanese one, the American one.
the problem for this movie is that they had Batman 89 on one end of the book, and then they had the Flash TV series on the other.
Yes.
And both of those were such good, fun adaptations that fans loved, that when you put this one in the middle, you're like, oh, you could have done so much. Like, because you didn't realize at the time that CBS was spending ungodly amounts per episode on the Flash show for the time, because
Yes.
nobody reported on that stuff back then. So, it's easy to be like, if they can do that with a TV show, why the hell they can't make a Captain America movie that's...
I mean, just a couple of $1 million more, and it might have been an excellent movie. It had a few... it had a great cast, mainly. Great cast.
I mean, I probably would have got Michael Biehn in there for Captain America, because in 1990, he would have been a great choice.
But I don't know if they could.
He did like 3 movies in
Or,
1990.
yeah, he did Navy SEALs, was 1990.
So everyone's forgetting how bad The Eternals was. I'm not forgetting how bad it was. It was awful. And to this day, I bitterly regret that one of my favorite Korean actors, Don Lee, appeared in that movie.
Yeah,
I would
I
just
mean-
like to say to Korean actors out there, don't listen to your agents. Appearing in Disney Marvel stuff is not good for you.
How about
I feel like
hold
this
on,
across
would you
the
want to be
board.
like, which did he die worse in, like his career for being in the Eternals or in Train to Busan?
Well, he died. He died a wonderful death in Train to Busan. His career hasn't died because his movies are making big money in Korea. So just don't appear in Hollywood shit. Please don't.
When he dipped his toe in the American market, he went the wrong way.
Like all the Roundup movies make like Roundup Punishments made like $60 million in Korea alone. So that's.
Is that in like Korean weird dollars, or is that in American
in the
dollars?
equivalent to US?
Okay.
Roundup movies.
Because
Have made
like
a
when
lot
you
of
look
money.
at Japanese yen, 60 million isn't really as much as
No,
you
not
think
so
it would
much.
be.
Korean in US dollars, the Roundup movies make regularly 60 to 100 million US in box office. So
Because I remember, what
a
was
big
the
star.
show? What was that Netflix show? The one with the video where they were playing the games.
Yeah, Squid Game. So
Squid Games.
Lee Ye Young is in this acolyte. I would have said, don't do it. Don't cheapen your career by making.
Well, yeah, it's going to destroy. Yeah, it's not going to help him.
You don't
But
need it. Don't do it.
I was going to say, when I was watching Squid Games, I looked up the exchange rate. I was like, how much is it that they're at? And I was like, this is only like $100,000.
Yeah, but the equivalent global box office is always in US dollars, and the Roundup movies that Don Lee stars in make a ton of money around the world. So, but anyway, that was a sidetrack. This movie. So I'm going to start with Jim. Thank you for being here with us, mate. What are your final thoughts on this movie?
Well, my final thoughts are that it came from a good place. It was honest, considering the budget and how they had to actually make it. Albert Payun tried to make the best movie that he could with what he had, and he did. Obviously, I mean, it's not a great movie by any means, but it is still a decent one, and for the time, it was our only Captain America movie at that time. And for whatever it actually cost, I heard a rumor that it was somewhere actually around $9 million to finish it. But whatever it cost, every dime is on the screen. And I actually kind of pulled off a decent story. It wasn't too bad. It could have been a lot better. And the Red Skull stuff was actually a lot of fun and kind of comic bookish, and that's exactly what I expected. So
cool.
And when I first seen it,
yeah.
When I first seen it in the video store, it's like, okay, yeah, that's a surprise to me. What's behind this hero? I saw Albert Payun's name, and then I see Menahem Golan. Okay. I took that thing home, and I sat there with a big smile on my face and said, that was god awful. But at the end of it, after seeing it several times and actually buying a copy on VHS, and started to enjoy it a little bit more every time I seen it. So it's kind of like it's a pleasure to actually watch it. That's a god awful movie, but it's also very pleasurable.
It's god awful, but you can still watch it, which is what I think. Yeah, you can still watch it, and I've watched it 4 times this week, believe it or not, and I kind of enjoyed quite a lot of it here and there.
You're starting to get Stockholm syndrome.
I am.
I was going to say, how much of that is genuine enjoyment, and how much of that is just delusion?
Yeah. I just looked it up. The budget was $3 million.
Yeah,
I mean,
wow.
So.
That doesn't mean they spent $3 million though, because as Albert Penn said, there was never any money in the bank account, so that might have been the budget on paper. But I just wanted to just give a shout out to Jim, to your channel, Wicked Fanboy. What else are you up to these days?
Oh, I've got a couple of new videos that will be coming out fairly soon. They're kind of cheeseballish, but that's the best I can do right now with the equipment that I have. Going to have a few interviews on my YouTube channel in the next couple of weeks. One in particular, I'm going to be going and talking to Sam Raimi, of all people, and having a little chat with him in about 3 weeks or so. And I'm going to see if I can get him to do a interview on a live stream on my channel. And anybody who wants to come on is more than welcome.
That would be awesome, mate. Sam Raimi would be awesome.
We'll see what happens there, and there's a possibility that might actually happen. So we'll see. And that's about it for right now.
Oh, well, good luck with that, mate. Yeah, that would be awesome to get Sam Raimi on. Thank you for joining us today. Little Chad, what's your thoughts on this movie?
I mean, part of me loves it because I saw it when I was like 10. And so it was the only thing Marvel that I was getting. I also have a soft spot for the Punisher with the Dolph Lundgren, because those were the two movies that I actually got from. I was a Marvel kid, and those were the only movies I got from Marvel besides Nicholas Hammond Spider-Man. Yeah. So I appreciate, like, nothing's gonna ever be able to taint my like 10-year-old first viewing of it, but as I get older, I do start to see like things that bug me and bother me. And like I said, what really gets me is that Captain America, like I said earlier, was the easiest to film without having like CGI and special effects that you have today. You could have done everything in 1990 that you needed to make an amazing, like, Batman level success Captain America movie, and they just partially because it went to a Golden Globes to make it, and you got caught up with that because at the time no one trusted comic book movies. I feel like if they didn't already have this like probably planned and in production before Batman got so successful, maybe if it got made after that, a studio might have invested more. But it is what it is, and so I love it. It's like Masters of the Universe. I saw it when I was a kid, so I still love it when I see it, but I can acknowledge that it's not a great movie.
Indeed. There's still stuff to enjoy in there. It's better than not having it, I think. To Dolph's Punisher, we'll be doing on Toxic Tuesday tomorrow night on Nick's channel. That's the movie we're doing. So
best opening scene.
Glad you mentioned
just sitting there nude in the sewers.
Yeah.
So that movie was good.
It was good.
That movie holds up better than the Captain America one, actually.
I think so.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I think so, yeah. So this is your channel, of course, Ascendant Art. Everybody should check it out. Friday night shows are a ton of fun. Mad gets everything wrong on the quizzes. He's terrible.
No, he would have nailed the 2005 one, but he didn't show up.
He didn't show, did he?
He told me
I was dying.
He commented after the next day once the video went live. I got them all, and I was like, well, that doesn't count. You weren't on the show to do it.
But
this week we're doing 90s rock. So
good. Thanks for being here, mate. And everybody check out Ascendant Art channel. But speaking of Mad, what about you, buddy? What's your final thoughts?
Man, I put this up there with one of the great bad movies. There's a ton of superhero bad movies. Fantastic Four will always have a special place. Generation X, the made-for-TV movie, is really, really If you think this is garbage level production, go check out Generation X.
No,
on
look up the Justice League live action TV show that they made.
I know that one too.
was bad.
I know that one too. But
what color should we make Green Lantern? How about blue? That's a great idea.
It's look, it's fun, man. It's a lot of fun. It's not. I wouldn't watch it alone. That would be very depressing.
He won't watch it alone because that's when the pants go down and he just does things he can't stop himself from doing.
Yeah. So this is Mad's channel, Mad Barber Entertainment. Obviously, you do other stuff too, but you're pretty good with the bad movies. I have to say.
I have experience when it comes to watching bad movies. Because I make Linder, Chad, Brahma. I make them watch a lot of bad movies, and it's only maybe a quarter of the movies I watch on my own that are bad. I save them from a lot of bad movies.
Yeah, well, check Mad's channel out. It's a lot of fun, and I really appreciate you being here today, mate. And hopefully not the last time.
I've been wanting to come on for a long time, but you have ignored me, never invited me.
Oh, you can join any show I do, any show.
Oh, the hockey show? Yeah, right.
Anyway, Mad Barber.
I do have. Is it too early to do promotions?
Yes. No, it's not. Of course, it's not.
Okay, yeah. So there's two movies I want to recommend. One is on Hulu. It's Dinner in America. It's a little indie film that is phenomenal. It's funny. It's irreverent. It's actually a sweet story as well. But it's really great. And just before I came on here, I finished watching Baytown Outlaws with Travis Fimmel and Eva Longoria. That movie is phenomenal. I loved it. I can't believe it came out in 2012. I have no idea how I missed it for this long. Yeah. It's so much fun. So those two movies, Dinner in America and Baytown Outlaws.
Cool. Oh, thanks, mate. Thanks for the recommendations.
Thanks for having me.
So let's go around the houses with my regular buddies. Pope, any final words?
Well, this is what was a really interesting one to watch because especially I was a little too young for this one because I was I think 4 when this came out. Or I would have been 6 by the time it released in the US. So it was an interesting one. Obviously, the greatest superhero movie ever made would come out the next year in The Rocketeer. But
that's a good one.
It's an interesting one because it's like it could have been really, really good if it hadn't come out at this era of canon. Like if they had done it in 85, 86, I think it would have been amazing. But by 1990, I think the magic had kind of worn off a bit, and let's face it wasn't even really canon films anymore.
No, it wasn't. No. 21st century, it burnt fairly less brightly and much shorter.
Yeah, so it's one of those movies that could have been really cool, and it is still pretty interesting. It's just not.
It's missed opportunity. Yeah. You obviously are on YouTube, but you also have your Rumble channel where you do Midnight Mass and some other stuff.
Yes.
So check Pope out on Rumble because you'll hear all the good.
You occasionally do Rock and Roll Religions over there, but mostly it is Midnight Mass every Saturday where I do a little radio show with you guys for a couple hours.
Yeah. So check those out if you want to hear some great tunes, metal tunes, rock tunes. Also, Pope, you're still on YouTube though, so
yeah, I don't post any exclusive content over there now. In fact, the Rogue Trader stuff is the last stuff I will probably be putting up over there.
Okay.
Just because I've switched over to Rumble.
Head to Rumble for Pope. Yeah, thanks for being here, buddy. Appreciate it very much. Did somebody drop out?
Yeah,
looks like it.
Matt, in the program, Matt said he had to go. He's
Mad and Chad. Joe, you're up next. What did you think of the movie, and what else have you got going?
It had been a long time since I've seen this one. I could see adding it to my list of guilty pleasures right along with Blood Rain, the trilogy, and Howard the Duck, and there's bad movies that I dig, and I could see this one getting on there, no doubt about it. But for at the time, the biggest thing we had it was Batman. That was the best thing we had seen. I remember when Batman came out, I went and saw it 3 times in one day. And the opening day, we went and saw it 3 times in a row. Me and my roommate, we were bartenders at the time. It was ridiculous. But I mean, I thought it was cool, but yeah, it's definitely hokey, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good for what it was, man. It was a first try, you know, and like I said, the Marvel stuff to that point hadn't been super. I mean, the only one that actually did something was the Hulk. Everybody watched that show when it was on, but it wasn't a traditional Hulk story.
No, it wasn't.
It was more like, you know, it was more like Kung Fu, the Hulk version. You know, he was going from town to town helping people and stuff. Yeah, so you know, a traditional comic book movie, really, they hadn't had many that had made it yet. Batman was probably, well, I mean, the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, of course.
Yeah, so DC had some traction and success, whereas Marvel was.
But they had a head start on Marvel for many years. I mean, you know, so. Yep.
So yeah, so you are the hardest working man on YouTube, as far as I can see.
No.
Joe's Atmosphere. Check his channel out, everybody, and subscribe. Get him to 500. Let's get him to 500.
I do have a music thing to push.
Oh, yeah.
My brother has started. If you ever watch our show, there, the one that says "The Brothers Hack the Matrix." If you've ever watched that one right there, my brother and I get together, and when you watch that show, he has always got a guitar in his hand. He's been taking guitar lessons from one of the members of Black Label Society for a while.
Nice. Yeah.
And he is dropping his first CD on iTunes, Spotify, all that stuff. It's all instrumental, 17 songs. Look for Sharking for Pearls. I know it sounds crazy. The story behind the name is nuts, but the name of it is Sharking for Pearls. Look for that. It drops this Sunday.
Cool.
Yeah, Highlander's going to have his own CD out there for you guys to listen to and jam with the guitar. Yeah.
Sunday.
Yep.
Thanks, Joe. Everybody check that out for sure. Yeah. And appreciate you being here as always, brother.
For sure, man. Always.
Imp, last but not least. Final thoughts.
Well, as everyone said, this movie is definitely a cheese fest, but at the same time, it's still better than a lot of the other Marvel movies that came out in the 90s towards the end of that run there with Fox. So, I mean, and it's better than what we're getting now in a lot of cases as far as Marvel goes. So if you don't dislike cheesy movies, then watch it. If you can't handle cheesy movies, then go watch some other pretentious shit.
You couldn't. That's a great way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you know what I just saw when he said that? What I saw was treat this like it's Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, I mean, I that's an example right there. Is I watch a lot of MST3K and riff tracks, and two of my favorite genres are kung fu movies and kaiju movies.
Oh, good, yeah,
right.
Me too.
So I can definitely handle cheese, but so. And as people also said, they tried. They gave an honest attempt.
And also, if you can't handle cheesy movies, why are you watching a stream on Canon Films? Come
right. The whole point is cheese.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why we do this. So yeah, we can find you, and obviously you do have a channel, but you also appear in a lot of other stuff, mate.
Yeah, tomorrow I'll be on Brahma Bull's channel with Little Chad and quite possibly Matt as well, doing some gaming. I've been meaning to get back into doing that on my channel, but life hasn't really worked out that way.
Well, indeed, but as always, appreciate you being here, brother. Thank you
always.
very much. Again, I just wanted to shout out our great friend Austin Trunick for being here. Canon Film Guides, which you can get on Amazon and other places. Absolutely brilliant books, fascinating stuff. Hugely influential for me, and obviously starting this show. And Austin being here is such a great thrill.
If you're a fan of movie history, check those books out. They're pretty cool.
And you'll also find Austin on Twitter as Canon Film Guide. It's a good starting point to find out all the other places you can find his stuff and what he's doing. Great guy. Thanks again, Austin, for being here. Let me hide that. So as for me, there are movies that are so bad that they're bad, movies that are so bad that they're good, and then there are bad movies that are movies. This is somewhere in between the good and the bad. You can.
So it's the ugly.
It's the ugly. Yes, this is the ugly of the good and the bad. It's got so many flaws, but at the same time, as somebody said, it's the only Captain America movie in 1990 we had. And I've watched it many times for no matter how bad
Marvel
a movie
movie
it is.
we had in 1990.
Yeah. So it has a special place then as a result of that, and I think it's well worth watching and appreciating some of the finer bits in it, even if some of the other stuff's a bit cheesy. Its heart was in the right place, and it has a great cast. So it's got heart, and I'll give it 10 out of 10 for that. And I'm glad it exists. I'd rather it existed than it didn't. Let's put it that way. So, and it's still streets ahead of some of the Marvel we're getting now. So I loved it. So thank you everyone for joining us in the chat, for being here, both over in Rumble and here, and anyone that was watching on Twitter. I appreciate it very much as always. Thanks to the super chatters. Thank you to D Bud Martin for doing a magnificent job on the modding and also for giving me the sheep videos. Everybody else that's been in the chat, which has been super active today, I appreciate you all being here and your continued support. Next week's show, I think I had an idea that my wife and I were talking about. I think we'll do a show on band names next week.
Oh boy.
We're going to do a show on band names. So stay tuned, because that could be a lot of fun.
I've got some real winners in that category.
Yes, exactly.
I think me and M can come up with some real interesting ones.
Indeed, and it'll include I believe I'm going to put together a quiz of like 15 band names. So this is what band name came out of this, whatever. So some of the obvious ones are there, but there'll be some other ones. So that could be a lot of fun. We'll talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly band names there. Saturday night, though, Brahma and I and Little Chad are doing, we do Bourbon and Boarding, our hockey show, heavily into the NHL playoffs like now. Stars are into the Western Conference Final.
Yeah.
Lots of excitement.
Yeah, I'm
there.
pulling for your Stars now that the Bruins been knocked out.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We can't get past the friggin' Panthers for some fucking reason. I don't know what the deal is there.
And there will be, there'll be a bunch of other shows. The Bruins are going through a transitional period, so I think they actually overachieved this year, so that's pretty good. And I'll be in lots of other shows during the week. 1,500 subs is within reach, and I promised when we get to 1,500, when I got to 1,500, then I would think about doing memberships. So I'm working on that. So think of all the wonderful things you could get of being a member of this channel.
Don't make promises you're not going to keep, brother man.
Oh, I might be slow, but I'll keep it.
Okay.
Right. Cheers to everyone for watching, and cheers to everybody watching on the replay. Till next time, keep on rocking and stay well.